Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Angel Velez, and Joe Dels. And this is episode 486. In this episode, we're going to talk about OKC winning Game 7 against Denver. Somebody on his panel was extremely wrong about J-Dub. He had a great Game 7 masterclass performance. Oh, we have to talk about Denver, what their future might look like. Jokic, how he performed in his series. We'll judge that. Then give our conference finals predictions between the Timberwolves and OKC. They're calling it the Aura Bowl. That's what the people are calling it. And we're going to have some NFL topics on this show and talk about Brock Purdy. I know you guys wanted to listen to that last episode. Now, fun fact, for the first time this year, we are going to get 7 different NBA champions, which is the most ever in NBA history.
I understand. 7 NBA champions as in players.
As in different teams to win it every year.
Oh, so the last 7 years.
The last 7 years, we're getting a different champion, which is the first time in NBA history.
Nice.
I'm like, wait a minute. Only 7 players are getting a championship for the first time?
Shit lost me.
No. That's going to be awesome.
Woo!
No,
Go
tape.
Knicks. Knicks tape. We here, baby. We here. Been there. You know, one of the few guys here that's born in New York. I've been there. Been around,
fact,
man.
There's only 2 of us here.
There's only 2 of us. Been there. Bronx, Mount Vernon Hospital. We here.
Dog.
Been there. Knicks Nation, baby. Fuck the Celtics. Yeah.
He's cooking.
Waving a foam finger, but in the group chat, he left because I said the Knicks would scrape the floor with the Cavaliers.
That's not why I left.
It was a reason.
I left because you were dick-eating Donovan Mitchell. Oh. That's why I left.
Now, he was on. There's a couple of nights he was just on one.
Who?
Him.
Yeah.
Some nights he
just starts
trolling. He's just really feeling it.
That was
like during the day.
That dead was in the middle of the day. That's a fact.
That morning, his exact messages that I remember. I think it was in the morning, afternoon. Late morning, early afternoon.
What else?
I hit you up about the Cavaliers and Pacers. A couple messages, we start to go in deep.
We conversating
and
about it.
I said this. I said, well, if Tyrese Halliburton wins this series, we might have to have a discussion about if he ranks ahead of Donovan Mitchell.
You did say that.
And you was like, yo, stop trolling, bro. Stop trolling.
You were definitely trolling.
You always doing this, bro. Should be pissing me off. And then I was like, yo, bro, I'm just saying. I'm like, man, I wish the Knicks played the Cavs. We would have had an easy road. And then he left the chat.
No, because you started talking about him taking 40 shots, and I was like, well, like, yeah.
No, that was a part of it. No, him and Ty Jerome come out for 50 shots in Game 1.
Yo, bro, how many conference finals has D. Mitch gone to?
Damn.
He's gone to 0.
Damn.
Unfortunately, 0, man.
Wait.
Unfortunately, 0.
And Halliburton has
2 back-to-back years.
So what matters more than anything that they say?
I mean, winning.
Winning? It matters?
Winning trumps all.
Okay.
Tyrese Halliburton is a winning player. Unfortunately, I don't think Donovan is.
You know what also Donovan hasn't
It's a
been
shame, Riff.
available for his team.
Hey, he was available this series.
Yeah,
was he?
Missed the game.
Hey, he played.
No, he played.
He played every
last
game.
Yeah,
He
but
played every game. He played every game.
He missed the
So
half,
what that
but they
means
were down
is
40.
he's open to criticism.
Yes.
Damn
He had 40 3 times. Twice.
He did all he could. He did all he could.
40, like 3 times.
He was playing so well. We said, who's the best player in the playoffs? Donovan Mitchell's like top 2 right now.
Yeah, he was
That's
playing.
what
Listen, he was playing. We got to get to one, man. We got to get to one.
Nah, you need one. You need one. All
Cavs just
trolling
fell
aside.
apart. They all keep falling
Bro,
apart,
the
man.
magnet ball died. Like they couldn't shoot the fucking ball, and then Ty Jerome, we're gonna talk. Oh, we'll see you again, bro. We're gonna have a conversation because what the fuck happened to you?
We're going to try to predict how many points Ant-Man, SGA, Brunson, and Halliburton score in the conference finals of Game 1. Are you guys ready?
There's no way he scores 0, right? Like there's just no way. In
Are you talking about
Tyrese Halliburton for the love of God, please?
He's right. The only guy in the league
Just
we've
done
had
it before,
have it
you know what I
twice.
mean? Just
Yeah, it's a funny thing, but yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Tyrese Halliburton, let's start with him. 18 points, more or less.
You know Tyrese is a playoff riser.
He is, but it's a tricky thing for him because his playoff rising comes in the assist and the eye test.
It's true.
The points aren't always there. I think he's going to have a 16 and 13 type vibe, 16 points coming in the fourth, really impactful. So I'm going to say less on the
I'm
match.
actually going to say less as well.
I'm going to go more on Halliburton. I feel like we're going to see an aggressive version of
20
him
points, I could see
in
it.
the conference finals. And shout out to PrizePicks. You can use code PAS, play $5, get $50. Now, next name up, SGA.
Dog.
I don't want to hear
31
the
and a half
number, bro.
points.
I don't need to hear it.
You don't need to hear it?
I don't need to
I
hear
don't think
it.
I need to hear it either.
He's having more than that without
First
a doubt.
game come out, OKC back in the WCF. Homegrown.
Set tone.
Set tone?
Set tone.
Tone setter.
He might
More.
go for 40.
More.
31 and a half points. You guys are going more. Both of you guys are going with more. I'm going to go with less on Shea.
So you went more
Game
on
one,
Hallie.
feel out game. Well, Hallie was 18 points. Shea's more. It's 31 and a half. He has to have 32 points.
So you're telling me he needs to score
Hallie's
less than what
18
he
is-
averaged
is-
this season?
It's harder to
I
get
think this is
going to
be a feel out game for OKC. I think Minnesota's defenders, Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, they're going to come to play. Next name up.
Tight.
Anthony Edwards, 26 and a half points. Oh, this is more.
This is more.
It's
more.
definitely
This
more.
is
I think
more.
he'll have a
This is more.
28,
This is more.
30-point game.
This is more. It's
This is
Anthony
more.
Edwards. It's him.
You know,
This is more.
Ant-Man got to set tone game one on the road.
but
Now
that
he
shit's fine.
has to set tone.
This is ridiculous. You know what? I'm glad they said what they said about you.
Jalen Brunson, 28 and a half points.
This is more. Jalen Brunson, he doesn't care about efficiency. He doesn't care about volume. The shot's going to go up, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop him. I'm going more.
I'm seeing a theme here. You want to talk about setting tone? It's Jalen Brunson. What he's going to do game one versus the Indiana Pacers. He's going to have more than that.
It's as simple as that. I think Brunson's going to go more, so I got Hallie more, Brunson more, Ant-Man more, and SGA, the line is high, so I'm going with less. I'm sorry.
Can't buy in on that.
And you guys can make your picks on PrizePicks. If you use code PAS, you play $5, you get $50. If you want to support the podcast in a different way, that is different from liking the video, subscribing, or commenting, you can go to PrizePicks and use code PAS.
Credit to Indiana, though, man.
Do you think he would want to talk to us in the offseason?
He better.
Or he's just locked in?
In the offseason, he'll probably have time for us.
Okay.
I don't know. He might be. I don't know.
He fucks with our shit.
If he wants to just be in the lab,
He's
just
probably
like
got
I'm
to
trying to work
lock
on my
in
game.
maybe who he wants to play for. But
That too. He is going to be a free agent.
Maybe after he signs
After he
his
signs,
contract, we'll
facts.
congratulate
Yeah.
him. Yo, come on the podcast.
I am interested if you were to sit down with us again to have the Halliburton versus him conversation. Like that actually is something I'm interested in hearing him talk about.
I don't know what he's gonna say, man. I should have ranked him above Derek White. I don't know. I don't know what he can say.
I wonder if he's
Right
gonna
here,
be
bro.
like,
Do your
you know,
thing.
you wish
This is for you.
you
you,
wish
bro.
this evil on me of Halliburton cooking me in the playoffs.
Yeah, I kind of manifested it unintentionally. I didn't know it was actually gonna happen, but it ended up happening. I wonder if he thought of me in those moments.
I wonder too when
while he's on the court.
not
Like after that three sunk
After-
in, damn,
yes.
Joel
was right.
after game 2, I do wonder if he was just like, this motherfucker got me.
I doubt it. I hope he didn't.
Is that a question we gotta ask him? Yo, did that go through your mind? In those moments?
He's gonna be like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are,
Yeah,
bro.
he's gonna be like hell no.
No, did you go home and think about it at any point in time, or it was just like it was a thought that like was just far removed from your memory, or did at any point you're driving, you're like, no, he did say that shit.
He did say that, and it got me.
No way.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be like on a scale of 0% to 100%.
He might have.
There's
but
like
is
a
he gonna
10,
tell us?
10% chance, and that
Yes.
1%
'Cause
chance.
I agree. There's definitely a
wouldn't
chance
tell
he
you.
thought about it, but
I
I
wouldn't
would
have told
if
you.
I was him, I would not tell
I'm
you.
not
Hell
speaking.
no.
I'm about
Hell
to gas
no.
it. I don't fuck to think
Yeah.
about you.
That's only something that he would say not on camera. Like on camera, there's not a chance he's saying that you were in his head afterward. Off camera,
That'd
he'll
be
probably
crazy.
be like, nah, bro.
Imagine.
a normal guy.
I'm not
compared
gonna
to me.
lie to you, bro. You
Using my
got me.
brain.
You got me.
I couldn't stop fucking thinking about it.
Every time I might step with him, I thought about it. Like, I
That
gotta
King of the
stop.
Hills go hard before.
You see them floaters? Yeah, they wasn't dropping.
Yeah, man.
Oh my goodness! So we're gonna start off with OKC beating Denver. In
No,
game
we
7.
definitely should do that.
Yeah, we need.
No,
to
we
start off with
definitely
that.
should talk about OKC versus Denver for the sole reason that there was a couple people here that fell off the wagon in more ways than one. Whether
hard.
it was OKC or whether it was with like the most shocked that I've ever been is falling off of SGA rib.
Yo, talk to me because he told me he didn't say anything bad.
Why did my phone
no.
off on SGA?
You know what he did actually?
He told me he didn't say anything bad.
There's multiple things that he's did.
I'm listening. You have your great memory.
What he actually did was one say SGA with a 68 win team had no help.
Ooh,
He said that.
okay.
Then secondly,
That's a thought.
Secondly, he said because of how limited he is as a playmaker, there are other players that he would take above him.
Like
and
who?
so then he went with the usual, which is fair. Nikola Jokic, fair, best in the world.
That's the only one.
He had him ranked number 2.
He
did have him ranked number 2.
I had him ranked number 2.
Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said Jalen Brunson right now is a better playoff performer than SGA.
He was wishy-washy. He was confusing me. He was the playoffs was saving him. He just kept going back to the playoffs. Because when I said, all right, rank him, it was number 2.
But I think maybe this is where my memory is getting a little foggy, but there was a moment in the show where I looked at him, and I think it was something that it forced me to get to this reaction. I said, you can never talk to Riv about falling off on SGA. I forget what it was specifically that led me to that. But he was off. He was like, I just trust Jokic, which again, it's fair. It's game 7, it's totally Jokic. But there was something else that he said that led me to him feeling me feeling like,
not gonna lie,
he's just not an SGA guy.
He was just going on and on. Like, we talked about SGA and, his performances in these playoffs and some of his flaws for like at least like 5 to 8 minutes. It's a lot of talk.
It was really
Is that not a segment?
It was just heavy talk on the
Shea.
lack of playmaking and his lack of faith in his teammates as well. And it's the shots that some other guys create for his teammates that just make basketball easier for his teammates around him.
He said tunnel vision at one point.
And then what I loved watching from this game was not just how amazing he was, even with the tunnel vision at times.
He got into his bag.
But there was a certain player who I've been vocal. Calm down. There are moments where he doesn't look great, but I still believe in the process. That is Jalen Williams, J-Dub. Now,
great 7 game.
You have a pattern here with the Jalen's.
It's a fact.
I do love Jalen's.
Great game.
J-Dub, much better chances he does right for you, though.
Green, absolutely.
What do you mean? Jalen Hurts won the whole thing.
Jalen Brown.
I'm talking about Jalen Green.
Jalen Brown. Oh.
Jalen Green was
hold
the
on.
first name.
I really have a
I
weird
love
thing
the
with
Jalen.
Jalen.
That's a fact.
Jalen Hurts, Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Jalen Green, and yes.
Didn't even think you were talking about Jalen Green.
I was talking about Jalen Green. No, yeah.
It's crazy. He's the only Jalen blemish on my resume, but we all have our time in the sun. J-Dub with a Game 7 masterclass, and there's actually one person I need to give credit to. It's John. He said, I fear more than anything else is a J-Dub Game 7 masterclass. He manifested that into existence. Because the third best player on the court.
We said he's due for one.
He was due. And he absolutely cooked. It was beautiful to go from a 68-win team with SGA who has no help to an absolute belt-to-ass Game 7 firm, definitive.
Not close.
So are you on the SGA train or what, man?
W. Wow.
You heard all of that, and that's the question that you asked me?
No, it's
I could care less about the J-Dub
It's justified.
shit, yeah.
No, because 1,000%, and I know you know what you said. And
He does.
I hate.
I don't know.
I hate me.
You were accurate with everything you said, but nothing about it is wrong.
So interesting. So you're off the SGA bandwagon.
The Shea playmaking, I think, is an accurate statement.
Drew, do you remember why he said I fell off the SGA bandwagon?
No, but do you also remember what he said about Giannis? Do you remember what he said about Giannis? For him to say Giannis, because we made eye contact when he said Giannis, the idea
that was nuts.
Was a better playmaker than SGA. So then what are we doing? What does SGA do better? What does he do better than Giannis? That's where I was at in that moment. But again, SGA guy in the moment then was in conversation being best in the world to now he may not be the best point guard in the world.
I never said that because when you told me to rank them, I said SGA is still number 2. Luka this year wasn't his best year.
But Jalen Brunson, which, hey.
In the playoffs, no,
he can get nasty. I love him.
In the playoffs, he's been better than SGA. I will stand on that.
He's not too
He's not,
wrong.
but then just take him. Just take him.
I mean, I'm taking him to go all the way to make that.
When it matters the most, Jalen Brunson's better.
Well, we know who you're taking in these upcoming series. One is,
of course,
maybe to cement himself over the other.
I don't know what it is to be a Shea, to not be a Shea guy. I like to be the relayer of accurate, honest.
There's a reason why you just stuttered right there, man. God just knows you're spewing shit.
I mean, listen, there's no doubt about him. My doubt was on J-Dub. He's been terrible this series, and he played really well.
Another guy that I know on that team too, but we were very quiet about it. But there's another guy who played exceedingly well in this entire
OKC in general just played well.
No lie, that is 1,000% true. But number 9. Alex Caruso.
Their second best player.
There was a time where you fell off on AC Fresh.
His offense.
There was a time where you fell off on AC Fresh.
What's falling
you were quiet,
off?
and I respect that.
I don't got that.
Saying he's not better than Gobert?
No, it's just when his offense wasn't there. He's
Definitely
a negative. He's absolutely nothing on
a little
offense.
shaky
We
for
didn't
sure.
give
That
him
ain't
time
me.
to cook.
But he
We
was shooting
didn't
the
give
shit
him
out the
time.
ball this series.
And as the season went on,
yeah,
the
he started off
three-ball-
nasty.
He
started off nasty.
horrible.
Yeah.
Definitely shaking.
Horrible. But if you know Alex Caruso,
He gets
like
hot.
we should,
He's making wide open jumpers.
like we should know. In this series,
And
I
it's
mean, it
tough
really
for him,
didn't
yeah.
matter.
But,
Like
I
he
mean,
could,
yeah.
but
He was getting wide open looks, but we could talk about what he was doing in Game 7.
defense.
Because, God damn.
we talk about
Yeah, it's not
Gobert.
amazing.
We talk about Anthony
oh my
Davis.
God.
Let's
We
talk about Alex Caruso,
we
man.
talk about Joel
Come
Embiid.
on, put him
But
in that- put him in that tier.
The real Jokic stopper is Alex Caruso.
Who would have thought?
Oh my God, to stop the best in the world, one of the best offensive players in the world, who knew that the answer was a 6'4" Alex Caruso?
But that for real is Shea's help. Like offensively, that's
Cook.
a team that there's nights where J-Dub is off and Chet is off. They had a lot of nights like that. But Caruso stepped up, but it's that defense. That's why I
bro.
still had confidence in them Game 7 because they had shown throughout these playoffs that defense could, if you get one of those games where they are playing that physical, they're causing turnovers. I mean, damn, Denver must have had 11 or 12 turnovers at the end of the first half. They had like 7 in the first quarter. And the way they were playing defense on Jokic, it started with Caruso, but when the couple times Jokic did get the ball, he was getting swarmed, and there was nothing they could do. The Nuggets had their injuries. Like MPJ, of course, was himself. Gordon playing on the hammy.
He couldn't
but
do anything.
The Thunder, they put belt to ass and they said no. Like we belong in this situation. We know they are former champs and they got experience, but this is our time, and I think they have a really good chance against your Wolves too, Mr. Joel.
Yeah, my thing was just on J-Dub. He was terrible this entire series, and Shea, no help, is more so from an offensive standpoint. I think that Denver, we saw, halted their offense with the zone defense, and they collapsed on drives that Shea had, and they left everybody open from three. How many times did you look up and you saw a Shea drive and J-Dub was open from three? Lou Dort was open from three. Caruso was open from three.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't leave any room for Shea to operate within the paint without seeing multiple bodies. And there were moments there where I thought Shea could have made better passes or better decisions in those moments. But Game 7 was a masterclass from J-Dub. And for him to come out in that game and play as well as he played, I think it established himself, and it gives you more confidence that he could continue to play like that because he's shown it. A lot of these player sample sizes we're seeing in real time and what they could do. So I'm going to have doubts about something I haven't seen yet. And I haven't seen it. And from the moments in this series, he really hasn't been that good. But he came out and he was hitting his jump shots. He was getting to the rim. He forced the issue on defense. He had 17 points in the second quarter, I believe. And there was this one moment where I looked down at the screen because I was rewatching the game, and it just encapsulated what the game was. After the first quarter, 1 minute, 20-second mark, 48-20 run that OKC went on. You talk about Caruso and what he did. I think he was excellent. And a lot of Denver fans and some fans that are defending Jokic for the performance are saying that they were fouling him and getting away with a lot of stuff. I didn't see that. I thought Caruso navigated post positioning beautifully. I think he fronted it. He switched from side to side, and he was getting his hands on balls.
His hands are so active.
He was putting his hands up, contesting every shot. There was this one where Jokic drives to the basket, and he puts up a layup that was forced, and he misses. He gets the rebound back, and Caruso's still on him, but then Lou Dort comes right behind him and just swipes at the ball. It creates a turnover, and they get out and they run their offense. I thought it was the type of game that you need from OKC where you're not relying so much on your half-court offense to generate things. You're relying on that defense creating havoc to force offense and to create those transition opportunities. And then J-Dub, he had the steal to end the second quarter where he just kind of was on Jokic's hip and then just swiped at the ball and got a transition dunk. And I thought Jokic, because it was a very physical series, I thought he was fishing for some calls. There were some moments there, like the steal that Caruso had when there was a pass made to Jokic and Jokic kind of just falls down. And in real time, you look at that and you say, maybe that is a foul. But then you watch it, you have replay, and I'm rewinding it, and I'm saying, I don't think there's enough contact. I think Jokic just flailed to try to get a call because of how physical they were playing him. And OKC took advantage of that. The refs weren't calling that because Jokic, for as much as he does get mauled, he also does a lot of his own flopping. So referees, how do you officiate a guy like that you know is trying to create the issue? Like there was this one foul they called on Caruso where Jokic just like bumped into him and then like fell 2 feet forward. So how do you officiate a guy like that? And I thought overall, OKC just out-physicaled them. They look like the more experienced team despite being inexperienced. And they're in the conference finals now. I thought it should have ended sooner. They were a minus 900 favorite coming into the series.
Hey, you got to get it done.
But they got it done.
I genuinely love that all of this happened the way that it did. I honestly do.
This was a big moment for Jokic.
No, it was not just a big moment, Joel.
Big moment, Drew.
It was a
big moment.
career-defining game for Nikola Jokic.
If that's career-defining, that's not
Game 7 in the second round. Yeah. So not just 1 year in a row does Nikola Jokic fall short in Game 7, but this one time it was you were up 20, and then you ended up blowing it. Now this time,
you got your ass
career-defining game where my brother was adamant he's going to be the best player on the court.
He's going to have the moment.
And I said to him, "You're falling off. You're falling off on SGA, who you said this season has a case to be the best player in the world." What was his words to me verbatim? What was his words to me verbatim? I don't give a damn about no train. I don't give a damn about what it being on or off the train. I said, I don't want to hear a damn thing coming from your mouth towards you. His words, and I didn't hate this rebuttal. He's got so many teams. I can't even keep track anymore. I didn't hate that rebuttal.
It would make sense if I had been an OKC fan. But
see, and that's the one thing where I will say, and it pains me because similarly, let me not say similarly because the job's nowhere near done, truthfully. And again, I want that team to win the NBA championship without a doubt. Talking to the Knicks for the audio listeners, it's kind of like when the Eagles, I was supposed to be there with you in the Super Bowl, and I couldn't. Yeah. And I regretted it strongly. You were right there with me the whole time with OKC.
In Denver,
and then you had a moment. And you fell off,
what do you
and
mean?
it hurts
picked
me.
Boston to win a championship.
No doubt, but in the West, I'm here OKC.
No. We're all wrong on OKC. None of us outside of me in the beginning of the playoffs picked them to win a finals.
This isn't a finals thing. I still don't.
What are you pushing?
We're not doing that. How is he the OKC guy? What?
In the West, 1,000%.
That's more his team than
You're
anybody
the
else's.
Lakers guy. They got eliminated in the first round.
100%.
Also
We all
OKC
got that
guy.
wrong. That being said,
J-Dub,
How the hell
Caruso.
are you an anything guy?
I'm just a Knicks.
I'm just. Goddamn, bro.
oh my god.
How are you a Halley guy? You didn't have him going this far.
I'm not a Halley guy. I'm not. Right now, I'm not. We're facing them in
Oh,
the series.
all right.
We're facing them in the series.
My bad.
It's the Eastern
my
Conference
bad.
Finals. Why the hell am I going to be Halley guy during this
Were you a
time?
Halley guy
you-
last year? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
They played last
No,
year.
but
Joel,
not during the
how are
series.
you an
Not during
ant
the
guy then?
series.
You picked against him. How are you an ant guy? You didn't have him going this far.
Just because you're picking against somebody doesn't mean you're not a certain guy.
on the port. Fight back. Fight back right now.
We won't talk about that.
no, we won't talk about that.
Nah, but just because you make one prediction doesn't mean, you know what I mean. That's what
I was
you're
gonna
sticking
say,
with. Like,
I wasn't gonna say nothing about the OKC until the finals. Even still, they go to the finals. I'm rooting for the Knicks. If the Knicks go to the finals and they face OKC,
because
I'm rooting for the
picked them
Knicks.
to go to the finals, and then you told us Denver's beating them.
Yeah, you picked them in Game 7.
How the fuck can you have? How can you have them advancing and losing and be right and not be wrong?
No, when you talk with them, I'm the only one who had OKC going to the finals.
I said winning.
Yeah, and I was wrong.
I had them winning. How are you bigger than me? I had them
Obviously.
winning.
No, you were right.
Let me finish.
Who knows?
Because last week we did the live reactions after every game.
Yes.
I said after OKC took the 3-2 lead, I
Yes.
said this is over in 6. I got OKC.
You did. That's even worse. Maybe this is why we got to stop with the live reactions.
But because it went to 7, I said I got Denver 7. I
how the
was
fuck
wrong on that, but
Was
still.
there no world where they could have won in 7? Was there no world?
And
Well,
what
yeah,
about
the
this
world just happened. We
career-defining
just
game from
witnessed
Jokic?
The career-defining game was a game
you're
that
crazy,
had
bro.
stakes if he had won, but really
Saying
no
I'm the
stakes if he
OKC
had
guy is
won.
No,
crazy.
he
It's
needs
so
help.
crazy.
He needs help.
So
Because
crazy.
I'm not
I'm
here
not the
claiming this
OKC guy.
OKC
No,
fucking.
not even
they're gonna
close.
win a championship.
Not
no.
even close.
All I was saying was with me and Riv, we could have been there together, but Riv turned his back on OKC. I wasn't making this about
But
you.
I'm just saying,
I'm making
I
this
did.
about him.
And I did.
Because him and I sat at this table. We went fucking head to head. First series, shout out to OKC handling business against the Grizzlies. Second series, it got dicey.
They're
It
not
got
equivalent,
dicey.
though.
I didn't even pick
All
anybody.
I'm saying is he fell off on OKC.
Oh, but that's been the case since
I
last
know.
year.
That's what I'm saying.
I've admitted that.
Yeah, you have. But that's all I was saying.
But
I
I've
wasn't
never-
trying to fucking make no fucking
Never
statement.
went on an 8-minute spiel about SGA. Never like that.
I'm not gonna lie.
Never.
I'm
He was
not gonna
talking.
lie. He
Never.
was.
Yes, we did.
Never.
Yes, we did. 2 years ago, we had a debate of whether or not SGA was a superstar, and I said yes, he was, and you said he wasn't better than Devin Booker. That was 2 years ago.
No.
Wait.
Yes. You can search it up on YouTube.
Oh, no.
I said.
And last year we had a debate
Please
about
say it's not
OKC and
true.
Denver in the playoffs, and I said I
Is it
think
true?
Shea could play
Yes.
just as well as Jokic.
I said he hasn't made the playoffs yet. You can't call him a
Yeah,
superstar.
it was 2
That's
years
what I
ago,
said.
bro.
2 years ago. I said that.
You
I
know,
did say
and
that.
you've grown as a man because you gave Cade the superstar tag
Yeah,
before
I
seeing
said
the
that.
playoffs too.
But never forget who was with my brother in Kentucky. You can never take that away
No,
from me.
you were there.
There's
That's
no
been my-
footage.
You know that.
There's no footage.
crazy.
No, but what I'm saying, listen.
There's no footage.
OKC. No, I'm not jacking them as mine. I picked them to go to the finals and win it before the playoffs started. But because I picked Denver to win a series, it's all out the window now. I'm not jacking OKC like, yeah, this was my pick. And plus,
You don't gotta tell us that, bro. We already. It was done. I never looked at you and be like, "Oh, this is an OKC guy."
It's not about me having to clarify that information for you. It's about me. It's about me having to say that. Overall, I'm not gonna jack that. This is a personal thing for me.
Minnesota,
I'm saying this for
locked
me.
in.
Yeah, I already
And
know
now
you're picking
that
on
I know
Minnesota.
that the Knicks in the conference finals going to beat your bum ass Celtics, we in the conference finals and we go all the way and we winning the championship. So overall, I don't care who I'm on or I'm off.
There you go.
If Minnesota
you
makes
back
the
here.
NBA finals, it's still the Knicks. I don't care. I'm going all in on the Knicks. It don't matter.
I love when you are a Knicks fan through and through.
Even
I
though
love
it's
it.
it's
It's been a
away
shaky
from
road.
the-
It's been a shaky road.
This is the top of the mountain right now. This is what this is the most
But when
we've
it's
seen.
here,
He's made
when
it.
it's
He's
here,
made it.
man.
mwah,
Yes.
it's
here.
beautiful.
Yes,
here.
it's taken some time, but he's here.
You know
That's
what? And
all that
I
matters.
promise I'm not even mad about it. Because if I was Joel, if I was you, and I had acted the way that you did this season with my Knicks, being real, I would did the same thing he did.
Yeah,
I
real
would
asshole.
eat it. I was wrong,
Yep.
but fuck it. It's
we
my
here.
team, and we're going to the chip.
And now I'm picking
I
them all
would
the
be
way.
the same
For
way.
who we're playing.
I
I'm
don't
picking
give a
it, yeah.
fuck.
I
I
got it
love
on
to live in
FanDuel.
delusion. We
I
know
got
that.
it on
Delusion. Delusion.
couple of shirts coming to my house,
you go, there you go.
to some Knicks
Ride the
traders
wave,
sending
ride
it
the
to my
wave.
way. Shout out to natives, you know what I'm saying? We doing that. But
Now, this
I
could
had
end-
to upgrade my
This
swag.
is gonna end two ways. The good way, they go to the finals, they win it all. He's celebrating.
And
The
I'll win some
bad
money.
way
That happens too.
Is they lose in this round in a nasty
There's no way
way.
we're losing to Indiana.
There's
And
no
then
way.
all the bad, like he would just be like, "I'm done. This is the worst day of my life." It's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers injury, but like times 10 when it first happened.
Way worse.
Oh god, that was
Way worse.
terrible.
No, I'm happy either way. Regardless of how the season ends, I'm happy either way.
No,
I was thinking more.
I can't agree with that.
I was thinking about
You gotta
the
get
house
there
money
now.
thing.
because I'm again.
It's no longer house money.
You guys know I
no
ride with
longer
the
house
Knicks.
money.
You know that.
The season can't be a failure.
You have to go to the finals.
It can't be a failure. It's no
You
longer
just
a
beat
failure.
Boston.
But
It would be disappointing as fuck if you
like
don't
this
go.
is a huge chance
Brother,
right now.
no. This team was built to play Boston.
Yes.
You've had your up and downs through the regular season.
Downs.
People were talking shit. You hadn't beat a top team.
And we smoked them.
And then
3-1 with Tatum
you
playing.
went into the Boston series. You probably
Need that context.
What you were like plus 1,000 or you were like plus 800?
One of the
shit?
greatest
It
underdogs
was an
I've
insane
ever seen
underdog.
win.
We
Came back down 20 points in game 1 and game 2.
You beat the best team in the league, arguably. Everybody was talking about them repeating. No. If you don't make the finals, it's a failure, bro.
You cannot win.
Now
You can go
change.
to the finals
It
and
changes.
lose to OKC.
Yes, you can lose in
and
the
it's
finals,
okay.
but you have to get there.
That is your opinion.
No, it's a fact.
I'm saying no, it's not a fact.
You can't
Because
be just
for
satisfied.
me,
with, oh my God, we made
for
the
me,
ECF.
I haven't seen a conference finals in 25 years.
Dude, you just beat Boston.
No. Exactly.
Yo, be honest with the Jets when they went to 2 back-to-back AFC Championship games and lost. In hindsight, you're cool with that?
No, you won at least one
I'm
Super Bowl.
We had remember before this season we talked about he was like I just want to be a wild card team. I was like nah bro, we got to be AFC Championship. He's like I haven't seen the Jets be there in 15 years, and I was against him. Shit, he was right.
But
we
if the
won
Jets-
5 games last year, bro. Like, I do
if the
feel
Jets that year
but if
would
the
have beat the
Jets got
Chiefs
to the AFC
in the
Championship
AFC second
game,
round,
now
he's not like, come on, bro.
It's over. It's over. We have
I think
to.
we are one of 4 teams left standing.
That's not
We
enough,
might
man.
be one of 2 teams left standing
need to be.
in a week and a half or 2 weeks. Yeah, it's a successful season either way. We beat
Tell
the
you what,
Celtics.
Did you guys get nervous? Like when Boston was in the finals last year, every ECF, maybe not ECF, in the finals, I was nervous like the whole day.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
That shit, once you get
It's
here,
terrible.
bro, it really is terrible.
It's not.
I
It's
feel more
not
nervous
enjoyable.
about Indiana than Boston, though. I mean, he knows Boston.
I mean,
Boston was
sure.
kind of just like
No, bro.
it's dirt off your
Talking
shoulder.
in hindsight is the greatest thing of all time because the Celtics legitimately had the Knicks bent over. They're having their way, and the Knicks somehow, some way recovered every time.
Yeah.
Every time. It was one of the most impressive performances I've seen from a
Pretty
team.
embarrassing for the Celtics.
Oh, 1,000%. It's an all-time collapse.
Awful.
And
This
listen,
twice.
Yeah.
At
Twice.
home.
Low-key, 3
At
times.
home,
The third
like,
game, we were up like 10, 14, something like that.
Game 4.
Yeah, we were up like
yeah,
10 or
NTD
14.
Garden. Like, yeah, that's not good.
They haven't been a good home team in the playoffs, like throughout, outside of last year.
It's one of the
But
best
it's still
places to play.
embarrassing as shit.
It's like
sure.
one of the best places to play.
I know, it's, you know how much it hurts?
I know it hurts you. Like,
does.
I get it.
Sometimes it's not your day. We had a lot of not
Still
our
gotta
days,
get
you know what I
yours.
mean?
Me and you, man.
You still got to get yours. He's
we'll be
talking
back.
shit right now.
That's the shit.
He's talking. No, but like, you still got to get yours. Like, yeah, you beat the Celtics, no doubt.
going
But
to the
like,
finals.
they got
Yeah.
the chip. Like,
Yeah.
y'all got to
Like,
get yours.
if you don't
And
get a
this
chip,
is-
I don't give a fuck that you beat us. I'll be honest.
and
I
this-
don't care.
and this
See,
is
like,
why
I would be
I
acting
really
the
don't
same
care.
way.
That's real
I
shit.
would be acting
'Cause
the
he could just
same
hit us with the
way.
"I won."
Yeah, where's your Larry?
Yeah,
You know what I
Larry,
mean?
Larry,
Like,
Larry.
You
If you
beat
win,
us, but like
respect.
Larry.
Even if they don't
Respect.
make the finals, it's like, you don't even got that.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Like if Minnesota, apologize, and
You're
then you
good,
can
you're
go.
good.
If Minnesota goes to the finals, and let's say they lose, right? OKC, or excuse me, Denver, who has not gone to the finals in 2 years now, who lost to them last year. If a Minnesota fan's talking shit to me and I'm a Denver fan, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be like, yo, where's your chip?
Yeah.
Like it does not matter that you've gone to back
haven't
to
completed
back
the goal.
conference finals. It doesn't matter you
That's
went
why
to
I
the
feel like
finals.
this
You
is
don't have a ring.
It's time, man. It's time.
Now we're 2 weeks away from the outcome of things.
This is the year though. Like this, you're not
this
gonna get
is-
a better chance than this.
Well, next year the East might be wide open again.
that
will
too,
be, for
fair
sure.
point.
It's a fact.
Fair
And we
point.
might be. We're gonna be better next year.
You could be.
Other teams get better.
You could be, but here's the fear.
Y'all be at the top for sure.
Yeah.
We know that.
Here's the we don't often or we haven't seen repeat guys
Not
come
even
to
repeat
this.
ECF
Repeat
or
champions.
WCF.
True, but we've seen the repeat ECS, but it's been teams that we
WCF.
haven't thought.
I
Like
will
the
say
teams
this.
that win the finals, sorry, and you could go. They don't make it back to the ECF or WCF. They're
get
usually second round exits.
for like 7 straight years, I think.
I'm happy with whatever the outcome is. I want to win a championship, and I got money on the Knicks winning a championship. So there's a
So you'd
thousand
be
reasons why.
disappointed. You lose your money.
Yeah, and actually, you're not wrong. That might be the most disappointing thing about it. But overall, that's why I wanted OKC to lose Game 7. I feel like we had a better chance of beating
I
Denver
thought you were going somewhere else.
or
yeah.
Minnesota
No, for
than
sure.
OKC. Like when they
I still think OKC.
when they lost,
But you're
They'd be
supposed to be
pretty
the most
heavily favored.
unbiased analyst in the world.
when they lost, no, but my Game 7 prediction was rooted in analysis and Nuggets winning. But there was also
It was
a
rooted
part
in
of me.
SGA and J-Dub,
It was
baby.
it was a part of me that also
but
wanted
no Chet.
Denver to
Again,
win too.
where was Chad? Like I was waiting for the
Chet
Chad.
played well too, though.
He had a
He
good
did play
game,
well
no
Game
doubt.
7.
No, honestly,
He
the
didn't play
whole
as well
team
as
was great.
J-Dub.
The whole team was great.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing with OKC is that we're not gonna know until it happens. People are gonna project. Some people are just gonna wait and see on it happening. But overall, J-Dub and Chet's consistency is a big reason why people are lower on OKC overall. And their defense is just so historically great that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in times. But
Agreed.
you know, J-Dub
Shout out to Christian Brown.
had a Game 7
He hooped.
wonderful, beautiful performance. And Chet, he's in the same boat as him. Like he didn't play well for most of the series. Really, in the entire playoffs, Chet has been the third guy. He's been the most underwhelming guy of the three.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
he has been.
And if you want to count AC Fresh, like I
So,
would.
But I think it's the hip injury that he had. I think that's still bothering him. Because he was moving differently before he got the injury.
Man, it's just it must be a blessing to just be like, yeah.
That shit's giving me. That shit's
Bro,
stressing me out.
talk
Bro.
about your Knicks real quick. I feel like this year has got to be it because of the run you're going on. I feel like when you have these 20-point comeback wins, you have these statement games in the Garden, you have Jalen Brunson shot over Sar in the
just
first
excited for the
round.
parties.
You have these moments like these are the moments that you see in a title run when you have like these, whether it's coming back from down 20, having those clutch shots, outperforming. Like you guys have had all of that up until this year. That's year to year. They doesn't see that, right? We just saw with Boston last year. They came back against Indiana in 2 improbable games, right? And they go up 4 on that series where that shit could have easily been 2-2. That could have gone to Game 6 or a Game 7. And then this year they blow those games and they lose in round 2. So like those little things that go either way every single year, you don't know if you're gonna get that next year. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like this is a really good chance. And like shout out to I think all the other teams, but specifically looking at Indiana, like I know I picked them obviously, but it's like this is a year where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is really good comp. This isn't some like super team like last year's Boston team. You know what I mean? That's why I think this is a really good chance for you guys to get one.
Can I ask you a question though? Because last show there was no juggernauts in the playoffs. With OKC still alive, we still saying that?
There's one.
I think OKC is them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
that's
glad
why
we're there.
That's why I just said Indiana.
I'm glad we're
I
there.
made this point to a buddy yesterday. I said, if you were an OKC fan, before the NBA playoffs and before a couple days ago, you could argue. Okay, if you're an OKC fan and somebody told you these are the 4 remaining teams, they showed you the 4 remaining teams.
Chip.
And this was a month before the playoffs.
Chip.
You had no idea what had happened here.
100%.
What's your first reaction? Oh shit, we're winning.
We're winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's your reaction.
I don't agree.
And I can understand where he's coming from. If I looked at that bracket and I'm OKC and I see the Timberwolves,
I'm like, fuck.
I'm like, wait, what happened?
I'm like, we beat them. Shit.
It is tough.
What did they do?
It is
like
tough.
how good? Like they must have looked really good. Something really good must have happened for them to get here.
I think the Timberwolves, according to Vegas, are I'm trying to word it correctly, but they're the biggest underdog in Western Conference Finals history.
Why are they doing
Wow.
this to OKC?
That's
68 win
crazy.
team.
I get
All the
it. I
analytics
understand,
start leaning
but
that
I
way.
say that also where
They're more than like Boston, Miami when
but
Miami
that-
was an 8-year.
For
eight
real
seed.
though, like we watched the Cavaliers lose to Indiana, upset. We watched the Celtics lose to the Knicks
all a part of
as
the
an
money,
upset.
brother.
We watched OKC go against the best in the world, be minus 900 and go to a game 7. Why are we like? What business do we have betting on that
I would
series?
guess they're like
realistically?
like plus 300.
They're plus 300 exactly.
Wow, really?
Okay,
Minnesota.
you know what? That's the most in conference finals history.
I guess so.
Western Conference
So
Finals
what's
history.
OKC minus what?
OKC's
Like
minus
500,
300.
300.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's the same line. It's just
Oh, it's
opposite
just, that's how
directions.
that works.
Yeah, they're minus 375.
Word.
So almost 400 favorites.
At least they're learning a little bit. Like minus
Yeah.
900 was
That-
nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
minus
you never
900
know what it
seems
could be.
crazy.
It could be the exact numbers that they're using to calculate things, or maybe they're juicing it up a little more just so people could bet on Minnesota. You know?
Let me say minus 900 in hindsight, of course. In hindsight, like with all the upsets. So that's why I like this line, truthfully. I say all that to say I like the line.
Yeah. So if you show that to an OKC fan, you're probably feeling really confident in your chances because you're like, oh wait, no Boston, no Cleveland. Where's
Cleveland's,
Cleveland
yeah.
at?
See,
I
but then
mean,
again, I'll be also...
They've handled Boston easier than handling Minnesota.
He's right.
Yeah, but I think Boston still is a tougher challenge than Minnesota, like at their full strength and best.
Maybe.
Did you say
before the
Minnesota's
playoffs.
had a little bit of a...
No, absolutely not. No.
Let me relax before the Minnesota fans get on my neck. Oh, the Laker fan talking shit on us. But Riv, you could talk. We really can't talk here, actually.
The Warriors
my best
series is
player
the
didn't
only
play.
thing you can point to. They thoroughly handled the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean,
No, yeah, that was-
can't
they
say
did.
wrong.
It's really just
Lakers were in some of them games, but
And there wasn't like any injury that series where we're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, just one guy didn't play. He's a very important person. He matters a lot.
No,
Yeah,
1000%.
Steph could change things.
Can you believe
He
that
can.
people were trying to diminish Jimmy after this series?
Yeah, man. Like he was being guarded by Jaden and them, and he has Rudy in the paint. And, like,
who was it? Kevin O'Connell said he's not.
a playoff riser?
Yeah, I think was he
Or
saying
no,
that?
I think he said
you-
playoff
playoff
Jimmy
Jimmy's gone.
is not a real thing.
Udonis Haslam also said that he's not what everybody thinks he is. Something
Maybe-
along
or
those
to
to be
I
fair,
lines.
don't
he hasn't saved himself by saying he's not D Wade, he's not LeBron, and all right, there's not many.
If you're
people
expecting
are.
Jimmy Butler to play at like the 2020,
it was a tough
I
series.
just don't. I
We
don't know.
didn't have any 3-point shooting.
He was sick for one of the game. He had the injury.
Steve Kerr just decided paint, no 3-pointers. It was no.
I'll be
It's
honest,
no
they had no
Steph.
chance without Steph.
all, you
no
gotta,
chance.
all you gotta say is no Steph. Once you
no,
say no Steph,
literally.
it's really it.
And the only reason why I have issue with that and people trying to talk on Jimmy as if we didn't see the 180 from the Golden State Warriors once Jimmy was there. Before they were there, we didn't care about them. Like genuinely,
like a 10th seed.
I didn't want to talk about them because they were not worthy of being talked about. They get Jimmy and suddenly now they don't lose basketball games. And Steph Curry now is one of the best again in the world.
In the playing game, he went crazy. I thought we were gonna get a Jimmy that was like gonna average 30
See, but
after
here's the
that
thing.
game.
we
Not gonna lie.
could have.
Yeah.
if Steph was healthy.
And the
And
injury, bro.
He wasn't healthy either.
That's a fact
That was
too.
like game 2 of the Rockets
He
series,
fell his
right?
ass.
I think
It was
game 1
early,
he had
game 1.
Bro,
an elite
he's
game.
been limping for like a week and some change.
Yeah, I think it was game 1.
Yeah, can you? So again, everybody gets the benefit of doubt when it comes to injuries too, but people like to pick and choose.
People are cooking stuff right now because Aaron Gordon played and he didn't play.
One's also 36 years
He
old.
runs around
Their
all
games
fucking
are. I was
day.
gonna say their games are so
Yeah,
different.
he's
but-
getting tortured.
I mean, you're
I
still.
will give
mean,
Aaron Gordon
OD.
his flowers.
No, Aaron Gordon, he went out there like a real.
He
But you
shouldn't have
saw him
played,
out
though.
there. He
Running
really
backwards.
He
wasn't.
went out there like a G on a grade 2,
He hit some
grade
shots.
2 hamstring in a game 7,
Oh,
Oh shit.
wait.
and he played probably the second best on his team
Oh shit.
in the biggest moment. Hey, they
Is
lost.
this a James Harden cook session? I'm excited for it.
This is a.
You know I love James Harden cook session.
You know, though,
did he really play well? It was like
honestly,
a
I'm
quarter.
not mad at this conversation because of what he said outside.
Yo,
We should
I'm
talk
trying
about
to tell
it.
you on the porch he's
talk about
violated, and you didn't step up like the man you should have.
I don't need to.
should've
I don't
saved
need,
your
nah,
brother.
You don't gotta
Rip.
stoop- yeah.
I don't need to stoop to that. That's what it is. I don't need to
All right,
stoop to that.
all right. You're better
Let's talk
than
about
the
this
moment.
James Harden grade 2 hamstring.
2 for 11 wide open shots.
Let's talk about him when he's healthy. in Game 7.
I have-
Stupid.
Aaron Gordon 5 rebounds in the first quarter on a Gary 2.
I've given up on a Harden ring like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Should have gave up on it
10 years ago.
No, they're getting rude. They're getting rude. They're getting
If
rude.
they don't get hurt, they win 2020.
I mean, 2025, 2015, no shot is win that. And then Kevin Durant got there.
So I would say 4 years ago because 2021 was the last time I thought he could actually win.
Yeah.
After that, now.
I'll say injuries really have fucked us.
Bad.
Like, and I want to say that we still have got great basketball from rounds 1 to now.
But I mean, how many stars are injured right now?
Dude, it's like
Mitchell,
the scheduling sucks, bro.
Ja, Steph,
Tatum.
Aaron Gordon, Tatum,
Aaron Gordon.
Jimmy Butler. Like, just the nagging injuries that, like, take away the full apex of a player. Like, the scheduling is brutal. Like, it's brutal. Like, even Cleveland. Garland, we missed him for a little bit. Mobley was hurt. Hunter got hurt just getting blocked. But for the most part, like, we're just missing dudes, bro. Like, it's the shit
Neesmith-
crazy. No, it was Mather.
Oh, it was Mathurin.
He
You're right.
punched that shit and got
Yeah,
hurt.
Mathurin
Like,
is a real
Well,
good.
grow up.
Denver and OKC had that one game where they ended at like midnight and then had a like 3:30 start 2 days later. That was
it's
crazy.
like, bro, who made the scheduling? It's
Aaron Gordon
ridiculous.
talked about that and how he feels
did.
like the product would be better if they just had more rest.
They could
between
do
games.
it.
product was
The thing-
great.
The season would probably get extended a little more. You probably have to go into like July is the only thing.
I
Because
mean,
right now it ends
I
like
don't
last
mind the
week of June.
playoffs being the only thing that gets extended. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
No more, not more games, just more days off.
It's also when it's the second round, because in the first round we were getting you got 2 days of rest and then you had your game. With the semifinals and the conference finals, you know how it goes. It's every other game.
Yeah.
I guess that could be a reason where you
should
could
be.
argue,
At
but
least travel days you should get.
Because even
extra.
right now, it's every other
every other day in the semis and the conference.
Yeah.
Because
Why
low
would you
key,
do
if you're
that?
a road team, bro, that's not really even a day of rest.
No,
You're
like
on a
yeah.
flight,
It's like a
and
half
then you
day.
got the game next.
Because then you still got to get treatment and all
but that's
that
what I'm saying.
workout
Like,
practice.
what sense does it make that you get the best rest in the first round? Like, that really doesn't make
I
sense.
think it's the only solution is to shorten the regular season because you can't make regular season games now like happen more often because you still have the same injury risk. You either have to spread out the games or you have to have less games so there's more space for you to spread out.
maybe I sound
cut
like a
preseason?
boomer.
They could cut it down a little bit.
Or they start the NBA season earlier. That's the only thing they could do.
Don't hate
Like
that.
maybe, but then you
But then
you
the
know,
offseason gets shorter. And the offseason is already short.
and you also are competing with the NFL in September.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to start the season in September.
Do you
If
guys
anything, they
really
should
want
push
the
it
season to
back.
get shortened?
I don't.
I
think the
don't
product
want
is
that.
fine
Regular
where it's at.
season?
I
Do you
think-
want it to get
Oh,
shortened?
I think it could easily get shortened to like 70
There's
games.
But do you want it to?
If it would have like an impact on injuries, maybe.
100%. That's where I'm at. Like
You
if,
want it?
if it
if it
has
possibly
So
impact
history
injuries?
can never be rewritten.
I think that's the
The
risk
game,
you take.
I think, like the game has to evolve.
I think kind
You
of
know what I
like in football, they extend games.
added one.
They added games.
2.
But now history is broken
My bad.
more because they added that extra game, or there's more of a possibility for it to be broken.
But then they cut a preseason week?
It's only one now.
Yeah, so they
Like,
cut
I
the
think
preseason.
with if it has an impact on players' health, I think it makes sense because I think since the 90s, the injury rate to stars has gone up 7 times.
But like, I feel like in the playoffs, you have less teams, which would make it much easier to spread out the games instead of just cutting 10 to 12 games for a full regular season. Like, in the playoffs is where you need that. I'm not saying the regular season is not important and obviously you're going to get injured in the regular season, but in the playoffs where you kind of want your best product of basketball to be at, you should have a 3-day rest at minimum, or maybe like a 2-day rest.
Yeah, I feel like the best games you've seen this year at least is on a couple of days rest.
Because Denver OKC for us, like Denver OKC, they end like late or some shit like that, and then they got to go on a flight and go right to OKC or the next day. Like you don't really get that time to fully like just rest.
I mean, it just depends on how much it matters to the NBA. You know, the ratings are still up right now.
Facts.
And injuries just makes it more unpredictable.
If the playoffs are going to be this physical going forward too, that adds more to it.
I'm not going to disagree with that
because
point.
it's been so physical these playoffs. Last year I feel like it was too. These last two specifically really.
I'm a fan of that brand
too,
though.
But we could do that. But damn, yeah, I think you should probably get an extra day off.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, so there's a couple things I wanted to share, and about OKC. Just SGA has 5 of his 7 games in the series, 30+ points. Do you feel like it's felt like he's had an elite series, or would you say he's had a great series?
I felt like he's had an elite series.
Okay.
But you go with elite. Like watching every game 1 and game 7.
Like feel is so stupid and subjective. It didn't feel like he went out there and dominated, but he had a really good series. 5 out of the 7 games being 30, I would have guessed 4. But the only thing is the 2 games that he struggled just stuck out. Not that it should take anything away, but that's the only thing I'm not putting like elite.
Yeah, the last 3
Jokic
games.
had a really like elite series.
Jokic
you know
had
like neither of
pretty
them
pedestrian series for his
compared.
standards.
That's a fact.
He had, I think, an average 4 turnovers in this series. SGA over his last 3 games had 31, 32, and 35 points.
Since the pick.
Yeah, so over the last exactly over his last 3 games, he was awesome. What do you think?
They clowned him for that.
They did.
They clowned him for that. They said, "Yo, you're gonna laugh after losing." Man,
Thank God he won that game 7 because he
He's a
loses
special
that game
guy.
7, he gets
No, but now
killed.
it's iconic.
It is not for sure.
We did it.
How would you grade his series?
I wouldn't say elite. I'd say great. Because
Semantics.
It is semantics.
we got like he
So I don't care.
in the scoring department, he was really good. As a playmaker, you want him to be better. You know, you want him to make better reads, but the team, it was getting left wide open. They really were just like, all right, like we're just gonna stop SGA. And Christian Brown was a great defender on SGA. You know, I would say the defense was there. If you say elite, I wouldn't argue with you too much about it.
So your grade would be A plus.
I'd say like a B plus. Like if it's a grade, I think that's much better.
Is A
B
plus to you? Sure.
I'd say B plus for me. Like he had a B plus.
What was your grade?
Am I allowed
would've
to go
been-
A? Is
I would
A
pro-
still
you can go
elite
A.
for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would give him an A because
Yeah,
A
A
plus
minus.
means he was perfect.
Yes.
I don't think he was perfect.
Yeah, he was really good though.
He was
great.
fucking amazing though.
The Caruso point, just how impactful he was.
Jesus.
I think you could argue he flipped the series and he just flipped the game with his defense.
For Josh Giddey,
Overall.
man.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey.
just love it. I'm Mr. Role Player in the
One of
NBA.
the-
It's something about me and
one of
role
the-
players.
And Jalen Green.
I hit. Hey, Jalen Green is a
Time in the sun.
fandom.
Time in the sun.
It's a fandom.
No, he's the
But
leading
he's
scorer on the second
He's
team.
just not like
in
a
the West.
role. Doesn't give role player.
No, he's not a role
Caruso,
player. He's not.
He's
He's supposed to be
his
one.
He's a screams all-star.
Yes,
Yeah.
OD.
He's a
Or
star.
screams
But
all-star.
I'm a role player guy in the NBA,
Potential.
and I hit. My success rate is high in the NBA. In the NFL,
No, I mean, you're right, because your other role player guy, I was doing some numbers, and with Kaysen Wallace and Alex Caruso on the court,
talk.
OKC had a 27.7 net rating, a 123 offensive rating, and a 95 defensive rating. I think that lineup,
tracks.
Yeah,
The
Kaysen
shit
was
that
fucking
gets
awesome.
me fired
Yeah,
up.
that tracks.
when Kaysen and Caruso are on the floor together, I feel like that's when their lineups at their best. Even if it's at the expense of Lou Dort being on the bench. Like I think
okay.
when it's Shea,
they
when
got
it's Shea,
some-
Kaysen, Caruso, J-Dub, and like
Yes,
Chet or
and Cheddar
Hardenstein,
Hornstein. Yes.
they are an unbelievable.
Do you want to know when the
unit.
game started to flip? And I'm sorry,
No, no,
Jordan,
no.
you can go.
You're good.
Bro, when Kaysen was taking control and he had those plays near the paint and he was drawing the defense in, he was just throwing those lobs to Chet. That's when the offense really started to get comfortable. The defense, they were just suffocating.
I was gonna ask, do you guys think this Thunder team is better than last year's Celtics team?
Wait
Yes.
and see. Wait and see. You can't say yes.
Am I under the assumption Porzingis?
You
different
just
play?
I hate you.
Yeah, I think that's fair that Porzingis is not really playing.
Nah, because
Because last year's team
this
isn't
paint and
Porzingis
pressure.
healthy, right? What? Isn't that a caveat? That's specifics.
No,
Damn.
I just hate how much you live in the now after everything has happened. I hate it.
You know,
Well, they went on
I
an easy
hate
run. They went on an
it.
easy run last year.
I have a question.
You.
I have a question. I have a question.
I don't even pay any mind.
No,
He pissed
I
me
don't.
off.
They went on
legitimately
an
just
easy
ignore it.
run.
No,
I just ignore it.
I want to state that we have to be more consistent, and I say that because You cannot sit there, and you did it. You did it multiple times. And I saw a live stream one morning when I was at work, and you were talking about the Pacers, and it disgusted the shit out of me because you talked about the Pacers and their run, and how you basically glazed their runs in the past 2 years, and you talked about how great it was. You was like, yeah, I know they were injuries, but they're still a great team. But when it comes to the Celtics, that shit gets thrown out the window so fast.
They're still a great team.
And you're just like, nah, fuck that. Injuries this, injuries that.
No, we're comparing them to
It's
OKC.
like, it's just, I don't like that.
A team you thought was gonna lose.
Are you guys?
I don't like that.
That's why I'm angry.
Are you guys ready to go band for band, player for player, and then actually compare this?
I would say
We
this,
have
Dels.
to wait till the season.
Dels,
You just
I
said
would
they
say
had
this.
no help.
I would say this
he
about
just
the
said
he did.
SGA had no help.
Offensively are limited for
I think
sure.
the
They
Celtics
The
team
whole
this year is better.
allure of OKC
But
has
the
been their
mentality you guys
defense.
had last
But
year,
I'm saying
was better.
their offensive
Payton
help is
Pritchard's
limited.
better.
For
We were
sure
just
it
more
is.
hurt this year, though.
Yeah, I think this team is better though. Like I think this Payton Pritchard's better than last year's Payton Pritchard.
Yes.
I think,
Porzingis was healthy
Yes,
coming
that's why
into it.
I
I think, but the
Tatum was
mentality
playing better.
last year was got to get it done by any means. This year, I don't want to say
Really, it was just
you know what I'm saying?
Jaylen Brown and Drew were probably the two players that fell off compared
Yeah,
to last
but I
year.
think like if I could put last year's mindset into this year's team, I would take this team.
It sucks too because we spoke about it before. KP was coming in unbelievable.
He was great this year.
Like he was
Yeah,
really
the way he ended the
good.
regular season,
When he was-
first
when
round
He's
He's
one
against
of the
played
Magic.
biggest
great.
playoff droppers in history.
Yeah, no, we saw that.
It
was
sucks because
abysmal.
against the
Statistically.
Clippers, he
Yo,
really
what's
was
up with him?
so
Because
good.
he had an illness. They haven't figured out what it is.
They think it's some like long-term illness kind of.
Who knows?
Because he was talking about,
Just
he,
can't get
he
over
said
it.
in the presser, like, dog, he said he played like 5 minutes, but he
Couldn't
felt
breathe.
like he couldn't breathe. And I'm like,
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what?
but
what
he had that
exactly.
shit in the regular season. They couldn't explain what it was. They just
He
like,
missed
it's an
like
illness.
8 or 9 games,
Yeah.
and then he came back.
Drew was looking at me. I think it's a
But the
fatigue
thing is, he came back and he played well.
Yeah,
Like he
I-
looked like regular Porzingis in the first round against the Magic. He was fine. It wasn't great. He was fine.
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
know.
the second round against New
Okay.
York, he just fell apart.
Could
So
also
we're-
just be Mitchell was giving.
We're under the assumption no
Sure.
Porzingis last year because you
I'm,
guys.
I'm
won
thinking
without
of
him.
last year's team with no, or you get
like,
one
a game
elite
of
game of
Porzingis.
Porzingis.
Yes.
Like that's all.
Because you
really
got it in the
is.
finals.
Yeah.
So JT and Shea cancel each other out.
yeah, although you could argue.
Yes. They're what are they?
Still,
the
even though I
second
think
best player
Shea,
and the
I think
seventh
Shea's
best player?
better, but I would still
They
cancel each
cancel
other
out.
out.
All right,
JB's over J Dub,
Yes.
easy.
and is Derek White over Chet?
Yes,
I was gonna say Porzingis.
Well, I'm under the
Porzingis
assumption
isn't
he's
really in this
he's
conversation.
we're not
because
counting.
he
him.
did he
But
was he didn't play last year. Really.
Oh,
I
okay,
would
okay.
definitely playoff Chet from what we've seen in combination
I
of
would
last
take
year.
Derek White.
Give me Derek White.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So Drew Holiday versus
Because last year's Drew
Isaiah
Holiday, you could
Hartenstein?
take last year's Drew
Yeah.
Holiday over Chet too.
yeah.
You could
last
do
year's
that.
Drew Holiday was
Last year's
special.
Drew Holiday was arguably the best he ever
was
been.
special.
So I think it's safe to say you have Drew and then
So,
Derek White
last year's Celtics are better.
over Hartenstein and Chet, right?
Wait,
Yes.
Chet this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Over Drew Holiday over Chet this
That's
year.
what
Last
saying,
year.
yeah.
Last year's Drew.
I'm
The
willing.
shooter. Ah.
Yeah.
54% from
The
the
game-winning steal against Nemhard in the
I'll
in
say
the
Chet this
ECF.
year was so great defensively. Ah.
He was.
Yeah,
But he was great
I think
defensively
we can't-
last year.
We can't
Just Drew
minimize
in the
his value.
playoffs
in that.
last year was nuts.
I'd say
he was so
I will
fucking
push back on Derek White over Chet. I will push back on Drew.
So
Holiday.
right now, how I have this
arguably
list,
better.
Yeah, he was nuts.
Arguably. He was that good.
he hit open shots. He did.
He
Drew
did, but
facts.
his defense, he had a game in the ECF, or was it the finals? He
I
had
don't hate
like
it.
25 points.
So right now, what I got is I got Shea, then
Yep.
I got Tatum, then I got Jaylen Brown, then I got Jalen Williams, then I have Derek White, Drew,
I agree.
and then it's Chet Hartenstein, and then like I think
Al
all
Horford.
yeah, I think they're both over.
I think
Horford.
they're also both better.
Is Horford over Caruso? I don't think so.
Last year's
Last
Horford
Horford
was
really good.
Horford's over Dort.
Horford had a
no.
game in the ECF
I was
last
gonna
year
say,
too.
bro.
He had 7
Like I
threes.
think here's where we start to get like a lot of the.
I mean, bro, what
OKC
did Horford shoot
guys.
last year in the playoffs?
Probably
40
40%.
Now I think
Probably.
Horford has moments,
And
but I think in
Horford
the
locked
season
up
will take all those players.
A guy who
We're trolling.
77.
thank you, like
Locked
thank
up
you, bro.
77.
Couldn't say it. I didn't want to.
But Caruso just locked up Jokic.
Oh!
It's close. I can't. I hear.
I mean, listen, he played elite defense on him, so
I mean, give me
Whatever you
Caruso
wanna say.
over Hardenstein and Chet Holmgren.
I'm
That's
taking
what's
Hartenstein
like.
comfortably over Horford.
yeah, I think
get
that the top 6 you got like
Boston has more
I
players.
guess 4
Because their
Celtics
starting five
players,
is better.
Yeah.
But the
and then
depth,
after that, it's a lot of OKC guys.
Hey,
So
Payton Pritchard this year, we play
and I
him
feel
on
like
that
it's
team.
accurate. I mean, you guys have star power over OKC, like in terms of your secondary and third option guys, but
They have some more
or
depth.
at least I would say like more offensively oriented players.
Yeah,
even though
that's fair.
even though JB and Derek White are great defensively as well, You know what I mean by that.
Have you guys seen?
And then
There's
Missoula
people.
or Mark Take now.
Oh, I'll take the champion. There's people on Celtics Twitter that are interested in trading Derek White.
What?
Yes.
Are they stupid?
Because they think that this is an opportunity to
cash
Get
out
his cash
on his
in.
highest value.
All right.
right
That
now, I
makes
mean,
sense.
he might have the most value outside of JT on the team.
By far.
You know what I mean?
That
Trade
contract
KP.
isn't the kindest, though.
Trade KP.
Am I crazy? What's
Derek
his
White,
contract?
It's like 34 a year.
That's still decent
Yo.
amount of money.
Talk to me. Jalen Green in the first.
For
Derek White.
nah.
You hang up the phone.
All right,
Maybe
all right.
Denver's gonna jump on
All
that.
right, here we
and
go.
try
Here we
to
go.
get-
Here we go.
Wait, what first?
Trade Drew MPJ.
It's over.
Okay.
I hung up the phone. I'm on another phone.
Hold on. Phoenix.
Hey.
KD?
No.
We're both second aprons.
Phoenix and
No,
Jalen Green.
Phoenix first.
Phoenix
Oh, sorry,
first from the
sorry.
Rockets.
Or Detroit's calling. Jaden Ivey in the first.
That's
Oh, you're nuts.
We can
Bad
talk.
GM.
We can
No,
we
no,
can
horrible
He's a little
GM.
cheaper.
We could
He's a little
talk.
cheaper.
We could
he's,
talk more.
He's improved better.
Bro, the
and he
Suns
was on
pick-
he was on a nice trend.
Sorry. Oh, from the Rockets.
That's
you're
what I'm
saying?
saying.
I'm giving
Yeah.
you Jaden
Suns
Ivey.
picking Jalen
Probably better than the
Green.
Suns pick.
I'm just saying the package starts with Ivy and a pick.
Oh, we can get more.
Yeah.
We can listen. The phone.
Because Ivy's
It's open.
someone that I'm looking at.
But
like,
Jaden Ivey's due
okay.
for an extension soon.
Yeah,
That's fine.
But he's a worthy extension, I think. He's shown
He's
you
not
that.
going to be like a $40 million
He's not.
guy.
He's
you know what
not.
I mean?
You
Like,
probably
just
could
got
get
hurt.
Jaden Ivey right now for like 23 to 25.
That's what
I'm the
saying.
Pistons, and I'm like, I think I'm really winning this trade.
Yeah, that's the point. We're trying to win. Yeah, we're
But
fleecing.
I don't think the Celtics are really winning that trade.
I
I
they're
don't know
not-
what I would really need, but I would need more.
They need to
Jalen Green
fill
and the
some
Suns
needs,
pick.
if
I
anything.
actually
What,
think
Suns
we've kinda
picks last year? Or next year, I mean?
Yes,
Oh, dude, you're
Yeah.
taking that. You're running with it.
that's a
But
great.
I wouldn't trade Derek White.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't either.
If
So-
you're trying to win.
I wanted to get into this too. I wanted to get into two things. So number
Me?
one, this was an interesting stat.
Oh.
Jokic had a 20.2% usage rate. That ranked 93rd out of
I was
94
going to say that's
postseason
low,
games.
low.
Oh, this is just game 7.
No, just playoff games. This ranks the second to last. His out of 94 postseason games, that ranked 93rd in usage rate in his playoff career. That 94th game was his postseason debut back in 2019.
That's crazy.
So they were limiting the entry passes. Like
Yeah.
it was really hard to get the ball to Jokic at all, really.
when he did,
Gave up on a generation.
they just couldn't get the ball to him.
Never forget.
It was pissing me off when I was
Ishbia.
watching too, because they could have had Jokic come up with the ball, at least try to set his screen higher, but his ass was going down to the paint, and there was just 3 people around him, and Caruso front him. It was the 20% sounds crazy, but it didn't. When you watch the game, it didn't feel like that. That's what
It didn't
that's
feel like he
what
really
seems.
got the ball. Like there
Yeah,
was a
at
lot
all,
of shots
bro.
that Denver took in transition.
They were
that
taking
early in the
they were
clock.
taking like threes, like Schroeder threes or Payne Watson, and if I'm OKC, I'm like, please,
Thank you.
Like Jokic doesn't touch the ball this possession, you dead ass, please.
So after
And you
this,
saw. I'm sorry, bro. The minutes while he was off. Did you
Yeah.
see how terrible?
yeah, they
Well,
couldn't
they
score.
pulled Jamal and Jokic.
Yeah,
at the start of the second quarter, they were up like 10 points, 7 points,
That was
something
a
like
terrible
that.
decision.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad. Does this series change things for you? Is SGA the best player in the world?
No,
Nah,
If he wins the championship, is he the best player in the world?
no.
Depends on how you do it.
he gets closer, but
Fair,
yes.
fair. I'm still gonna say no,
You're not putting him over Giannis
no, no,
or Jokic?
Giannis played great in his 5 games.
no.
Yeah, 5 games.
And truthfully, Jokic has not been Jokic this postseason. Far from.
Nobody-
Giannis is one series, albeit against, you could argue, a lot lesser competition because he just went up against OKC. Giannis did what he could.
I think it's tough for SGA to enter that because he could go out there and average like 35 on great efficiency, but we could still go into next year being like, you know what, like even though he had that run, playmaking still not great. You know what I mean? Like he still has these flaws that Jokic doesn't have. So I feel like no matter what the run is, it's going to be hard for people to put him in that combo just because of
He has a defense though.
He does have the defense, but that's when I'm like, okay, what about Giannis? I'm like, Giannis has it all.
For me personally, there's nobody that can enter that top 3 if he wins a championship. It would be those 3 locked for me if with a championship for SGA. And if you had SGA as the second or the best player in the world, I wouldn't agree. You have an argument.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, then out of the prime guys and then the younger guys, SGA and Tatum are the only ones that have a championship.
And
He'll
here's
have
the thing.
an MVP though, and probably Finals MVP
And
on
that
top of
MVP
it.
propels him.
And
Yeah, for
last
sure.
year, we all sat here around table and agreed. If Jason Tatum would have went out there into the finals and dominated,
Fact.
30 points per game, efficient, finals MVP, he could have had a seat at the table. We all said that he could have had a seat at the
Just
table.
tried to win the game,
But
man.
the issue
Shame.
now with SGA is 3-time first All-NBA, gonna have an MVP, and in this scenario, does have a finals MVP. It's way different.
I think the shakeup won't be if SGA wins the finals. I think the shakeup is if like Brunson or Ant-Man win the finals, because those are guys in the 6 to 10 range, if you can argue. If one of them win a ring and they have like an elite run, the top 5, well, the back end of the top 5 gets really shaky.
I think, though, legacy-wise, if Shea wins a championship, by far and away, his legacy is impacted the most out of the 3 that we just talked about.
Oh, yeah.
For the sole reason that he is the guy has multiple
MVP,
first-team All-NBA.
yeah.
He's going to have the MVP.
He'll be 3 times
This is an all-time great scoring season.
Yep.
On top of it, you are a part of an all-time great defense as well. And you cap it off with a championship and finals MVP.
Fire.
We're talking about this season as one of the all-time great seasons by a player, period.
We're kind of in a situation where whatever team wins that's left, it's a really monumental, remarkable
100%.
moment.
You had an amazing tweet yesterday.
You're talking about Shea and what that does for him in terms of the legacy talks with having an MVP. But what about Anthony Edwards, who's 23 years old
100%.
and wins a championship, and he could win an MVP in the next 3 years, especially after that MVP, he kind of boosts you up. And I think Anthony Edwards, he's already, you can argue, the most marketable star, young star in the league. Yeah, you can argue that. He can shoot, though, the jumper. So that's
different eras.
D-Wade can make layups.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
you're right.
So can Ant-Man.
Edwards finishing hasn't been that good.
Not this year, but we know who he is in the past.
But Ant could be the face of the league.
He didn't like that.
Ant would be the by far and away the face of the league, like the most marketable guy. If he wins
They'll
the
still try to push
championship,
Wemby. They'll still push Wemby.
But you're not wrong.
And it's understandable.
You're not
he has
wrong.
the European track, so.
But I think Ant, I feel like
He'll be
already
the
now,
American face.
the casual fans already, they just know
They love
Ant.
him.
They know Ant.
The 2 coolest players in the NBA right now are still in the NBA playoffs. In my opinion, Ant-Man is arguably the coolest player. Jalen Brunson's one of the coolest in my opinion too.
I was thank God I didn't say Shea, because both those was cooler than me.
I think Shea obviously is one of the coolest as well, but I just genuinely
Brunson
think
doesn't try. That's why Brunson's cool.
Exactly.
Brunson's just, I'm gonna go out here and hoop.
you can't teach what Brunson has.
Yeah.
You really
Villanova.
genuinely can't.
He just walks with it like.
Yeah, there is a-
that shit gives me goosebumps, bro.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson just made it out to
marketable stars.
No, I don't think.
I don't think.
I don't think he's marketable. I just genuinely think
That's why he
there's no
resonates.
basketball fan that looks at Jalen Brunson's like, I'm gonna hate on you.
Yeah.
No, people hate.
Well, it's because of the flopping.
the foul.
You know
Yeah.
what? Let me apologize.
Yeah, this
That's
playoff run,
fair.
he caught a lot of
That's
slack
fair.
there.
But really, round 1, round 2, I didn't see as much. I feel like.
Outside of basketball, though, he's like a cool,
He's
like
just
Jalen
chill.
Brunson,
I don't think
sick.
he's
Like,
wants
That's
to
why
be in
if
the mix.
Brunson gets this
Maybe.
chip and he wins it, beating Boston, beating maybe
Or other New
OKC,
York.
and he has these clutch time performances down the stretch, what that does, I know legacy, it's not going to be like Shea or anything like that, but what he stamps himself in New York is one of the best New York athletes of all time.
He's
He
over
stamps
Isaiah
himself
Thomas?
as like
No, for
one of
sure.
the clutchest players in NBA
He wins the
history.
championship. Isaiah Thomas or Jalen Brunson?
Which Isaiah Thomas?
I
the one in
asked the
Boston?
No, he's talking about the one in Detroit.
No, he's not.
The
There's
one
no
in
fuck.
I would say this.
Yo,
maybe-
Isaiah Thomas ever averaged 30 in a playoff run?
Stop it. He was He fucking had 35 with like a broken ankle.
Jalen Brunson has a broken ankle too.
Right now?
No, but he's just been
He's
playing.
playing on a bum ankle.
It's like the Tyrese Halliburton ankle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Nah, he's
Like-
not over. No, too far.
So that's the case with That's the case with SGA.
I was trying to go like,
With
We're trying to
Jalen
go
Brunson,
the lowest high you can go.
exactly.
it
Sorry,
might
Joel.
not do the most for like his legacy, but in terms of what it means, like a monumental moment in sports history, I think it would be one of the most monumental moments in sports history.
100%.
If he
Fire, for
brings the
sure.
Knicks their first championship in 53 years, and to do it at 6'1", 6'2", no guards really win chips, and
Talk.
now we got a chance for 4 guards to win a chip this year, which I think is a pretty cool story. A caveat with like the Halliburton and the Brunsons of the world, because Shea and Ant are like technically 2 guards that are,
Shit,
and Shea's
Hallie's
masquerading as
6'5".
like a
Yeah, but they're
he is.
initiator.
But yeah.
I was gonna say
handler.
Ant is 6'4", Shea is 6'6". That's a big
just
dude.
from like a play style perspective, like you think of smaller guards, and I think of like guards that are 6'3" and under.
Yeah,
That is
Curry,
really hard for them to win.
Curry,
So really, it's Curry
those guys.
since 2000, and
Chauncey Billups, too respectable.
Do we
Yeah.
count Tony? Like, why does Tony,
Tony was a
never?
small guard.
No, but that's
But
what I'm
wasn't-
saying. Like,
he wasn't the
wasn't
best player on the
his
team.
team.
I
Even if he
understand
won
because
finals,
he
he
won-
wasn't.
I
Duncan
get
he
it.
just didn't lead the team. Like he wasn't number one.
But in
guy.
2013, he was their best player.
They were old at that point, They had like a good committee.
2014, you could argue.
Good committee. But it was like no soup. Like when they were at their peak.
You're
Tim
right.
was the best.
You're
on the
right.
team.
So that's
You're
what I
right.
think is at stake for Brunson. Like he just has a chance to do something
excited.
That would also
never been
Who's
done.
the best player
Where does
that-
that rank in terms of improbable runs?
I think it might be like top 5 ever.
Right? Like that's
Okay,
up
Toronto has to be there,
Miami.
even though they were
Wait,
goaded.
we counted ones that won.
Oh,
Low-key,
six?
I'm saying, yeah, like win a
I think
championship.
if Brunson leads the Knicks to a chip, I think that's over 2019 Toronto.
I don't disagree.
I think
because
so.
nobody had them over
No.
the Celtics. Nobody, and even if
Yeah,
the
I don't
Celtics,
hate that. I don't hate that.
No, I
the
really
only
don't.
difference would be like Toronto went Philly, then Milwaukee.
Mavs,
That shit was super
2011.
tough.
2011, that's number one probably.
Yeah. Heat 06 like top 5 probably.
I think 2011 is number one.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
You got to put Detroit up there, the ones that beat the Lakers.
04?
Yeah, you got to put them up
Uh-huh.
there.
I'm low-key thinking like the Knicks one might be over all of them.
Nah, I think
It's
11.
11?
11.
Yeah.
11.
You're trolling. You're trolling.
It'll be number 2.
It's
and
just-
you
know
can
what?
live with
and
2.
I'm not even mad
No,
that
what
you're
if they
trolling.
beat O-
I'm
what
not
if
even
they
mad
beat
that you're
OKC?
trolling.
If they beat OKC, you
If
have
they
a
beat
conversation.
OKC, it's a
Then we
You
can
have a
talk.
conversation.
But
Yes.
Dallas literally went through the gauntlet of
Nah,
gauntlets
OD,
like
literally,
every single
the-
round.
They went to Spurs, they went OKC, they went the Lakers, and they went Miami.
The Lakers were kind of mid at that.
Stop,
time.
They were.
stop,
They
stop,
were. He's
stop,
right.
stop.
But they were
Underdog,
reigning champion.
underdog,
They were reigning
underdog,
champion. They
underdog.
were reigning champion.
They weren't mid.
They were-
They
they
were
were reigning
underdogs.
champ-
But you
But
kind
you
of
can
knew.
say that about the Pacers this year. You guys are favorites. You can say the same thing. Not to be fair.
I just think that when I look
They
at,
played Detroit.
I just
You
think
can use that too.
when you look
Stop.
at the
But
history,
Boston and the Thunder.
OKC in
You
this
called the
scenario.
Lakers mid.
Yeah, that was nuts.
that year, yeah, when they just won a championship,
They weren't
the year
mid.
before, I thought they were a pretty like
You didn't. We
average
don't even
playoff
remember
team.
what you thought that year.
I know.
It's
been
not
some
on
time.
footage.
He was. I mean, he was a Kobe fan, so he was.
But
locked
they got
in.
swept.
That was what he did what?
He's a Kobe fan.
He thought
They
they,
got
win.
they
He
got
thought they were gonna repeat.
swept.
Oh, true.
He thought they was
They
gonna
were going to
repeat.
go 3 in a row.
Yeah, he thought they was
They
gonna
got
repeat.
swept.
Shout out to Dallas.
They got swept. So,
Shout out to Dallas is right. They were locked.
I mean, they were really good. I'm saying it's just like the Lakers personnel. Ron Artest was a little older,
That speaks
dude.
on
Derek
Dirk and them
Fisher
more.
wasn't
I'm not
that
going to
good.
lie to you, bro. Dallas handled everybody they played.
Yeah.
They literally handled everyone.
It started
including
with, I
my
think, the Portland series. That was like Brandon Roy's last hurrah.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of you.
I was like, y'all let me get away with saying my Heat. I was like,
No,
oh, my
Heat-
Heat's
No, you
crazy.
have him
Yes.
because LeBron played like
Dwayne
shit.
Wade, yeah, he was way better than him.
And I'll tell you what, as a LeBron fan, the best thing that ever happened to LeBron was losing that finals.
You needed it.
Because
locked in.
No. He locked in, no doubt, but it would have been a blemish on his resume to have his first finals with another person be finals MVP.
But here's-
D-Wade was 100%
here's why I
Wade.
say-
Easy.
By far.
D-Wade was easily the best player.
Yeah, he was going to win
I wish
finals
D-Wade
MVP.
knees were
But here's
bad.
why I say the Knicks
You're telling
one
me.
is more improbable. Because even with the Mavericks, like you didn't see it coming. I mean, we're talking about improbable runs to begin with. When you look back at history,
What are you saying to me?
when you look back at history,
He
20
just
years
gave you
from
the
now,
definition of improbable. That's
yeah, because we're talking about improbable runs at the end of the day. So the Mavericks one was obviously improbable
It was
too.
the- it was the
But
most
the
of
reason
all
why I
time.
think the Knicks would be more improbable is because if you look back 20 years from now, you look at 2011 and then 2025, Dirk Nowitzki leading his team to a championship versus Jalen Brunson leading his team to a championship.
20 years from now?
Dirk Nowitzki has
We're still
more.
talking about it now.
No, if you're talking to me 20 years from now, we could be talking about Hall of Famer Jalen Brunson.
I'm saying,
though.
but Dirk Nowitzki has more historical significance.
But he was
in
he
NBA
was known as
history
a
than Jalen
choker
Brunson.
before that series, not before that year though, bro.
But his numbers were never choke like in the playoffs. The year that they lost in the first round to an AC, he averaged 27.
The tag on Dirk was playoff choker.
So then if that's the case, then the 04 Pistons are more improbable than the
Oh, by
11
far.
Mavericks, right? But I wouldn't say that
Even
personally.
Hakeem in '95 was it '95?
Because then we're degrading a good
95.
team. You know, like I respect the hell out of the Knicks. I think they're a great team. I say that
Allen Iverson in 01.
that's but I'm
But the
mostly
Celtics
going
were a
by-
60-win team that the Knicks just beat.
No, 100%.
So if they beat OKC, who's
No,
a
the Celtics
68-win
are the
team,
best team that out of all those teams we're talking about. It's just the 1, 2, 3, 4 round.
and them also
what was
beating
the Mavericks seeding when they went to the finals that year?
That's a good question. Dude, I think they were high.
6. They might have been.
Were they 6? No,
Six
because
would be
round
a little
one,
bit too high.
round one they faced the
I
Lakers.
got you right now. I ain't even about
Six,
to guess.
too high being like too high of a number. I think they're lower of a number.
2010, 11,
Like,
right?
Yeah,
I
like
low key
1
think third
through-
seed. If I would have to guess, I'll say third
I
seed.
don't hate that.
Okay, let's see right now. Here we go.
Second
They
season, I
were.
guess.
It's 2010, 2011, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Second season.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember
No,
them
second in Southwest Division. I'm so sorry.
That's a
I am
on, bro.
so sorry.
Jesus
He pulled an
Christ.
Andrew.
I did, and I fucked up, and I
He pulled a
apologize
me.
for that. Here we go. Now we're getting to it. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, guys.
What was the
This
record?
is embarrassing.
No, I'm fucking up. I'm not getting
Dude,
it.
just Google NBA standings. And
Oh, here
change
we go.
the
Okay.
year. If I
Knicks
find
won
this-
50. Knicks won how many games this year? 50, 51?
All right, got it. They were the third seed.
Okay.
How sure are you?
How many games did they win?
57.
57.
They were
Lakers won
57 and
57.
20. Wait a minute.
The mid Lakers.
The
won
Lakers
57
were
games.
the second seed. How did they meet?
Second round.
Second round. It's 1-8, 4-5.
The Mavericks
Wait.
beat the Blazers
Second
in the
round.
first round.
Yes.
And the conference finals was OKC. They didn't beat San Antonio that series, that run.
Yeah, because San Antonio won 61 games. I think.
OKC beat San Antonio to get to the conference finals.
Yeah.
And James Harden was electric in that series.
We don't care, bro.
I do.
The Thunder went to the Western Conference Finals
No, that was
in
in the second
11?
round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. KD, he
Why don't I remember that?
That was
KD
when they
is
were
the
pushing
youngest-
Kevin Durant versus D Rose. That's why they got on the cover of 2K the next year.
Kevin
'Cause that was
Durant,
D Rose MVP.
he's
year,
the youngest
young boy.
Oh, they
player.
shaft.
to lead his team in scoring and go to the conference finals in back-to-back years. Anthony Edwards just did it recently. So he's the second youngest, but KD was the youngest
Shout out to
to
KD.
do that.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Dallas pretty much they did handle business though. But yeah, no, that San Antonio and OKC series was electric. San Antonio was favored in that series too.
They're favored in probably.
I
If we
think
had to
Harden-
guess, Tim Duncan is probably favored in 98%
Bruh.
of
Oh,
the
all right.
series.
So we're all wrong.
Who did they play that playoff run?
The Grizzlies beat the Spurs in round 1.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Manu Ginobili broke his arm. Well, he had a big ass cast on his arm. He was playing injured that
Facts.
series.
I'm thinking about the year that OKC made the finals. They beat the Spurs.
Yes.
2012. Yeah,
that's
they beat
Game
the,
6,
they
James
was
Harden.
down 2-0. I think they won 4 straight.
Game 6, James
He was
Harden.
special.
Man. He was.
But yeah,
fucking
Manu got
incredible.
hurt in that series.
That Grizzlies team got me turned. They went to 7 against OKC and lost.
That's
They,
wild.
they used to give OKC fits.
And Dallas gave OKC belt.
Yeah, it makes
4-1.
sense. There
what did
was
the mid Lakers do?
that was a Spurs blunder.
The Lakers.
They beat the Hornets in round
They
one. if
got
I'm not
swept.
mistaken.
Chris Paul.
Oh wait, you mean in round 1? 4-2 versus Chris
That
Paul.
was a Chris Paul.
I told you I was a Kobe fan.
You said called them mid. They won
No, I
57
said they
games.
beat the Hornets in round one.
You
called
called
them
the
mid.
Lakers mid. That was
that
wrong.
year they weren't as good
Brother,
as the
they
year
won
before.
57 games.
That's like the Nuggets
broke
when
down.
we look back in time.
Can you look at the series
They
stats
broke
for the
down.
Lakers and Mavericks series stats?
I got you.
I mean,
Let's see how many players played actually like good in that
Like
series.
shit.
I mean, they got swept, so I can only imagine they played so well. All right, Kobe averaged 23, Bynum averaged 13, Powell
Bynum was
averaged
on that
13, Lamar averaged 12, Shannon Brown averaged 9, and the rest is noise, truthfully.
My goodness.
Kobe was okay, 46% from the field,
you take that.
23% from 3.
How many attempts?
He pulled a Tatum. How many attempts total?
3. It's just
22 threes. 5 for 22.
I played 4 games, so that's 5 a night.
Not to compare to the two, I'm just going to compare the situations. But
Okay.
what Kobe dealt with to end his Laker tenure at the back end of his career is worse than what Steph is going through with the no help stuff.
What do you mean?
I mean,
They
yeah,
get-
some of the Kobe,
Like the
Kobe teams
Lakers
at
rosters,
the
they
real
legitimately
ends,
couldn't build like any
Like
good
the
team around them.
No, the end was
100%.
was
Wait,
terrible.
who's saying Steph has no help?
I was going to say, I
No,
wouldn't
he
say
just,
that,
he
though.
just said it with a smirk on his face.
They're
I'll be
often
honest.
compared to
What did he
themselves.
try to? what
I've
did-
never.
They're
I
often
haven't seen
compared to
anyone
themselves
compare
because
those
whenever
Kobe
Steph,
teams.
like before they traded for Jimmy Butler, they said, you know, it's sad to see a player like this with no
It's
chance to
still-
do
still
something.
true.
Well, I mean,
It is, and
this
but
team.
that happened to Kobe
It's-
for like
yeah,
years
both
on
teams-
end.
No,
both
this
things are
team
true.
before Jimmy, and then like that team we had after the bubble year were pretty gruesome, pretty terrible teams.
Yeah, like they just failed to build around Kobe. He had no chance to go.
Why do you have to
for
make
the
it Kobe
championship.
versus Steph? Why can't we just say both?
Because you
these
can't make it
teams
Harden
are-
versus Steph.
Oh,
It's unfair
Yeah.
for me.
I wasn't.
I'm just
setting nothing up
that's
with
belt.
No, I made it
That's
Kobe versus
belt.
Steph because he went through that recently. There's no other star player I think that has remained with the franchise and has been
I
loyal.
mean, to be fair,
The
Steph
difference
did
is-
win a championship in 22.
I think the difference is Steph is just towards the back end better than Kobe was towards his back end. So you still can want to build around
yeah,
him.
I mean, after the Achilles injury,
It's not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you want to build around
no,
somebody who's
after,
still
That's
good.
still, like,
the
top tier
Achilles,
guy.
after
Oh,
the
dude.
Achilles injury, Kobe was pretty much cooked.
That's true.
He was
Yeah.
cooked. It was
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like, he was
Yeah.
torched up. You
But
know?
even then, they didn't give him a chance to even like try to build around him. Like those rosters were like
Terrible.
ass.
They were like rebuild. He knew. Kobe knew what was going on. Like, yeah, I know.
He
We're
still
just
gave us
tanking.
60,
like,
man.
Like
That's
AirPods
yeah.
might be like the second best player on his team at that time.
he wasn't better than Nick Young. Cap.
What'd you say?
AirPods.
I think they had Lou Will on them teams. Lou
Yeah,
Will
they
was
had
on
a terrible team.
Are we
too.
talking in 2016?
The
What the
Lakers?
year
No, like
before? What was the team the year before?
2013, 2014.
Oh, because I'm saying 2016, probably the second best player on that team was
D'Lo?
maybe Julius. And
Julius got hurt.
yo, but you're
Julius
right.
got hurt his rookie year.
Yeah.
He missed the whole year.
Um,
Probably D'Lo.
but Kobe did play with Julius.
He
For a
did.
little bit.
Yeah, he did. I think you're right. The best player probably is D'Lo.
Yeah. Might have been
Okay,
D'Lo.
in 13-14,
Crazy. Yeah, who's on the team?
Jordan Clarkson was on that team.
I'm gonna
Bucket.
just the starting lineup: Jody Meeks, Wesley Johnson, Paul Gasol, Kendall Marshall, Jordan Hill.
What year was this?
This was the year that Kobe missed the entire year because he was recovering.
How many
So-
games they won?
They won 27.
I thought they'd lose
I would
more.
have thought 23.
In 14-15, they won 21 games. Their starting lineup, the players who started the most games: Wesley Johnson, Jordan Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Wayne Ellington, and Kobe.
That team
Oh,
was
so
awful.
Gasol won more games with no
Gasol,
help? You said the year before they won 27, the year after they won 23?
Gasol, I think he went to the Bulls at this point, if I'm
Yeah,
not
he was an
mistaken.
all-star with us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then,
said us.
then
Fuck.
in 15-16, they won 17 games. They went 17 and
Kobe won
65.
17 games.
Roy Hibbert, Jordan Clarkson, Kobe, Randall, and D'Lo.
Roy
Rookie
Hibbert.
D'Lo.
I
Roy
forgot
Hibbert in
Roy
the
Hibbert was
Big
on the
20.
league.
Rookie D'Lo and basically
18.
rookie Randall as well.
Rookie D'Lo or Potts?
D'Lo. I'll go D'Lo.
Toss it.
And then let's see the last
What
year.
version of Pods am I getting, man?
You tell me, dude. I don't know.
Because the Az version of Pods is terrible.
He's so
But
bad
the good
when he's
version of
ass.
Pods that's decent.
No, I don't.
We
I
could
don't.
work
Kobe
with
ain't
that.
play with Nick Young.
Oh, you didn't?
No, he ain't play with Nick Young.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought he did.
I think because in 15-16, I think that was Kobe's last year.
Yeah. Damn, I thought they did play together.
No, he did. My
Oh, he
bad.
did? He's
He
on that
just
team?
didn't start. He played 54 games
That
for
was the
them.
year he was chefing. Like Nick Young was in his bag that year.
This-
He averaged 17 that year? 17.9?
The year that when he was with Kobe, he averaged 7.
What about the year after that?
The year after,
You just type in Nick Young and see if a year he averaged 17.9. That number's in my head for some reason.
he averaged 13. Yeah, he averaged 17 in his first year in LA. That was
17.9.
13. That was 13-14. Yeah, 17.9. That was the game that.
Knew it was in my
That was the year that Kobe only played 6 games this year. Yeah. So Nick
out
Young
Nick Young.
did have that type of year.
He was arguing with Kenyon Martin on the arena.
Yeah, no, I
they
seen
were
that.
getting
I seen that.
loud.
So so this is the other thing I had for you guys. I don't know how accurate this stat is, but I just think the facts behind the stat are accurate. Like what led the criteria of it is accurate. I don't know about the games and stuff. Jokic has gone his first 839 career games without having a teammate that was an all-star, an all-NBA player, or an all-defensive player. Of the 5,000 plus NBA players in history, he is the first to go his first 700 plus career games without such a teammate.
The only reason I don't like that stat or that collection of facts is it undersells Aaron Gordon. It undersells Jamal Murray and what he meant to them the year that they won a championship. That's where I have issue with this because fair enough, on pure fact alone, that statement could be true. But he's played with some really, really strong players.
Yeah, I think when you're doing like awards like that, it just takes out the context. You could look at last year's Boston team. That was a super team. They had 2 all-stars.
Yeah, facts, right?
They had one guy make all NBA. That's a super team. Like to take away what Jamal Murray did, like that's a lot of regular season stuff. The run Jamal Murray went on in 2013 as a Robin.
2023.
Yeah, he was like
2023. That's one of the best Robin runs we have seen in a long time. Not being the number 1, being the number 2, just every single night hitting you clutch shots. So sure, no all-star, but I'll take what Jamal Murray just gave me respectfully over Darius Garland, who's an all-star. You know
And
what
also, MPJ in that 2023 run was what you envision on draft night.
Yeah.
Does Jokic have help?
Yes.
Yes.
The team just
Can it be better?
needs,
Yes.
yes.
Comparatively
Depth.
to other all-time greats in the top 15, top 20 ranking all-time, does he have help?
Not as much help, but he still has help.
Does Giannis have help?
No.
That was one guy I did bring
They
up.
won a championship.
Comparable.
They
but
won a
same thing, like Chris
championship.
Middleton.
But like Drew Holiday's a
Drew
dog.
Holiday, exactly.
Chris
yeah.
Middleton was really fucking good in that run.
He fits the all-star criteria is the only caveat because he made an all-star
But
game.
you understand
Yeah.
but I'm still trying to give you a player in that range.
Who's
Like
better, Chris Middleton or Jamal Murray?
Jamal.
At their best, who's better?
Jamal.
Like that playoff run, yeah.
Jamal. Easy. If we're going playoff runs, because even still you had the hot and cold of Chris Middleton. Where it was mostly hot, thankfully. But in that run, 2023, Jamal was never bad.
Well, when you're thinking of all-time greats, I mean, like you look at Jordan's teammates, Bron's teammates, Kobe's teammates, then yeah, that's fine.
Steph.
Even Shaq's.
Steph, Shaq.
I think
there's-
outside of Giannis,
the top
Duncan.
10 is crazy.
Yeah,
Giannis and
Bill,
Hakeem.
Larry.
the only historical player.
Hakeem really did not have that.
Exactly. The only historical player outside of Giannis right
Did have
now
Clyde.
in the back then in the 90s is Hakeem, really. Hakeem when he
Got
won a
that late,
championship.
too.
Yeah, but Clyde was still.
That was nice. They just got him late. You know?
And I think that was his second ring. He might have won a ring without Clyde.
Yes.
His first
Well,
year.
he won a ring without an all-star, without an all-star teammate. He's one of the few guys to do that. I don't know if Clyde was there for both. I think he only has one ring.
Because that's why I
also
asked that
ask-
with Jokic, because people, Jokic is going to get compared to the all-time greats.
Rightfully
He's
so.
going to get compared to Shaq. And a major talking point is, Shaq had Kobe. Shaq had Dwayne Wade. Shaq played with, he even went to Phoenix and he played with Steve Nash.
Penny Hardaway.
He even played with Penny Hardaway with the Magic. Jokic has yet to play with a player that is an all-NBA level player. Even though Jamal Murray, he has a run where he raised his game to that level on a consistent basis, he has yet to play with a supporting cast that other all-time great players in his bracket have played with.
But if we go on All-NBA, there isn't many top 15 players, I think, that have played with an All-NBA talent.
MJ has played with one, with Scotty.
Yeah. But that was
LeBron has played with one.
Yeah.
Magic played with one.
He played with like 4.
Kobe played with one.
Yeah.
Larry Bird played with one. Tim Duncan.
going.
Kobe played with one,
Wait,
but he also won without one.
Larry played with who?
Kevin McHale.
McHale was
He was on
all
NBA.
NBA.
A few
I'm
times,
willing
I
to
believe.
bet he was all NBA.
Yeah, I
If
don't
he's
know how
not,
many
I'd
times.
He
bet.
I don't know how
probably
many
was.
years.
McHale was really great. I'm just curious,
I'll
truthfully.
check for you. I'm confident he probably made it once or
And
twice.
especially given this stat that he's the only player, I believe it. McHale was really great. I'm not trying to undersell him. I'm just curious
Like
too.
even Steph.
Of course, we know
One
that.
time.
One time.
86,
Okay.
87.
I mean, McHale was good. I don't think
Yeah.
he was. I mean, obviously, he was good enough for them to be
7-time All-Star,
dynasty.
though.
7-time All-Star. That's great.
So, when you look at the players in the top 15, like even Kevin Durant, he's played with more.
Oh, yeah.
Now, can I ask you? I don't know where people stand on KG. Obviously, he took KG going to Boston to win his
For that
championship.
dog shit.
Yeah, before that, Jokic's situation is better.
The only thing was that Jokic has the championship, and unfortunately, KG couldn't do that.
Yeah, the WCF.
Yeah, Jokic is
He played
over
in the
him.
tough-ass West, like Dallas. Dirk didn't play with an All-NBA talent.
No.
Steve Nash ain't break out.
Yeah.
And then Jason Kidd when they traded for him.
But he was,
But he was older.
Yeah. Well, no, even before that, they played, but he wasn't there yet.
The last thing I'll say on this, and then we could do whatever we want, keep talking about it or not. The 2023 Nuggets team was genuinely great. It was a great team. And that's the only reason I don't like this statement, because the year they won a championship, Jokic had a great team around him. Obviously, Jamal was all-world. MPJ was the best version of him that we've seen, in my opinion. He gave you defense on top of that, too. Aaron Gordon was great defensively. You look at that bench and what, obviously, well, KCP was starting, but Bruce Brown off the bench and what he was able to do. Christian Brown in spurts and what he was able to do. That was a really strong unit, albeit the bench really wasn't that deep. They really were running a 7-man rotation. But those 7 guys gave you great basketball almost every single game. And it was a dominant championship run as well.
Sorry, I don't anything else. It's just this era though. Like when we're talking about all these all-time greats, a lot of these it's like you've had awesome duos or super teams. Like these last 7 new champions, a lot of them it's like sure you have a duo, but look at the depth. When you're just talking about the 4 teams that remain right now. Like I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of the Wolves breaking out now with Randall into a duo, but goddamn, like Jaden McDaniels has some nights. Rudy Gobert, what he does defensively. The Knicks, it could be McHale one night, it could be OG one night. So I feel like the consistency of like whether it was like KD and Steph or D Wade and LeBron or Kyrie, like I feel like now there's just more depth that's being provided compared to like 2 or 3 like awesome dudes and then just like role players.
I think it just speaks to like in order to win at a high level and have multiple championships, you need to team up. I think that's what it tells me. There's very few players in NBA history that are all-time greats that haven't teamed up with other all-time
But right
great
now,
players to
no
get
one's
that.
really teaming up.
There's just a lot of depth in the league.
I mean, we'll
what
see
I'm
what
saying.
Giannis does because Giannis could change.
I
that.
know, but the last champions, like no one teamed up in Boston, no one teamed up in Denver, no one teamed up in Golden State. Like I guess the Lakers bubble AD and LeBron.
I'm not trying to make this a conversation into more than what it is, but if with a statement like that, which I agree with you strongly, team championships like that should matter more. I then it leads me to wonder why Hakeem doesn't get mentioned in top 10 like consistently by everyone, because his championship was in an era where people were starving for them, and you had a window of opportunity to win these championships while the Black Cat wasn't there, and the only guy to do it was Hakeem. And he did it while also being MVP and DPOY in the same year. Only 3 players have done that. That's the only where, like, why don't we look at those championships as meaning more? Why? Because Jordan was gone? There was other players in that era that were starving for one. Karl Malone, the guy we don't talk about for obvious reasons, rightfully so, he didn't get a championship in that time either. Why don't we talk about Hakeem's stamp? These are 2 of the better championships because he did it with not the best supporting cast.
I think they are. I think it's
interesting because I really think players can team up, but I really just think it's about finding a good organization. That's where it starts because we're looking at the 4 teams right now. Indiana, they're 10 deep. You know, New York is not. They're not as deep. They have the star player. You have 7, but they've had continuity for the most part outside of like Cat. Like Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson, they go way back.
True.
And with Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart have played together. You know, OG Anunoby is a seamless transition fit player on damn near any team. Then you look at Minnesota, they've kept that continuity together outside of Julius Randle, but for the most part, you got Jaden, you got Ant, Chris Finch is still there. Nice. And then OKC, they've had this team for like 2 years now. So like, and these are all teams that their number 2 isn't the flashiest. They're not a top 10, top 15 guy.
Number 2 could change night to night too.
Yeah, but it's consistent and their depth is really important. And for the Joker in Denver, I think their starting 5 is fine. I just think you get too many inconsistent nights from MPJ and then you don't have a solid foundation at the 6, 7 spot. Russell Westbrook played fine in his playoffs, but he's still volatile. You still don't know what you're going to get from him.
He stunk it up in this series for sure.
Peyton Watson is still a player you can't trust game to game on offense. Defensively, you can trust him every night, but offensively, you can't. And then you got Julian Strawther. Strawther game 5 was a movie or whatever. Whichever, it was a movie.
It wasn't going to happen.
But it's like, it's not consistent, you know. But Aaron Gordon
had to know. Had to know.
Aaron Gordon's amazing. Jamal Murray I think is a fine number 2 as long as you have the Joker. Christian Brown is better than KCP. So, you know, you just got to fill out that MPJ $33 million. Maybe you want to bring back 2 quality role players. You got to draft better too because you haven't drafted to the best of your ability. And if you could do that, you'll be all right.
This is the depth era. I want to ask you guys a question. This is the last one. Then we're going to move on to the Western Conference Finals.
Goddamn.
Sure.
2 hours my ass.
We just have one topic and it turns like 5.
No, we did an amazing job of actually not starting on a topic. This was not, what topic did we talk about really?
OKC and Denver game, that's it.
Talked about the Thunder.
Oh, just recapping the game.
Facts. Was minute 2, Thunder
that's
talk.
It. So the last 6 NBA champions, rank them 1 to 6. Okay. Best to worst.
Last 6.
What's the last 6?
Boston.
Boston is.
So we're going back to what?
The 19? Last 6 is Boston, Denver, Golden State, Milwaukee, LA, Toronto.
Okay, I'm going Boston 1. Either LA or Boston 1 or 2.
Yes,
I'm cool with whichever you want to shake
Boston
it.
1, Lakers 2.
All
Toronto 3.
Correct.
I go Golden State 4.
I agree.
I think we're better than Milwaukee.
I swear we got into an argument about the Raptors beating the Celtics.
No, I think they're better, but I don't feel like going into like that.
So we're going Raptors 3, Warriors.
We are
or the
so
Bucks.
better
Nuggets?
Are you better than the 2023 Nuggets?
No.
That's
Andrew
close.
Wiggins will put Jamal in a box. I'm not
Andrew
even
Wiggins was
He would put Jamal in a box.
That Jamal Murray, though?
And nobody stopped
That
Steph.
Jamal?
That
I
Wiggins?
would love to see 22 Wiggins versus 23.
Yeah,
Who's
like-
stopping Yoke on that team?
Nobody. Who's stopping Steph?
No one.
Christian Brown.
He didn't.
No, he wasn't.
KCP.
That wasn't him.
KCP.
He was on the bench.
Yeah.
though.
It would have been.
He
was on the
I
bench.
know, but he was getting spot minutes.
If we get
KCP.
Final Steph versus
stopper.
Final Joker, I'm taking Final Steph.
Nah, that's one of the best runs statistically ever.
Steph destroyed Boston.
He did.
Thank you.
I wouldn't even think of what he do to Denver.
Yeah,
But one thing for
Jokic
sure,
can have a
Milwaukee's
bigger role.
last.
Milwaukee's dead last. We know
Okay.
that. I'm on the side of Nuggets, unfortunately.
I got us. Man.
I think I would vote Nuggets too.
I got us, man.
Fuck y'all.
I respect it. We beat y'all. Listen, I got us. We had Jordan Poole coming off the bench.
That's when he was him.
We had a plethora of role players. I got us, man. Otto Porter Jr. was a dog. that year.
Bejlika.
He locked up Tatum.
Who?
Makes you wonder.
Bielitsa.
Bielitsa. Excuse
Had
me.
moments.
Wrist injury.
Bielitsa.
Right, that caused him to throw turnovers.
Wrist injury. Yeah, he doesn't have the same zip on the pass.
Right, on his left
not
hand.
as
Yeah.
accurate. Well, that would be his off hand. That's a tough pass.
When you're a superstar, you shouldn't have
He
off
makes
hands.
it now.
Huh?
He makes those now.
He does. Now those
Doesn't make
series
the
were
finals
needed.
anymore.
Oh my god.
Huh?
Huh? What?
So he's not going to make the finals.
I didn't say that. Focus on his Achilles.
He is. He's locked in right now.
Maybe that's
He
not
said
love.
him and KD are talking.
Oh, KD's going to Boston? Wouldn't shock me.
About the Achilles.
Oh, okay. Because
Well,
that
that's the
wouldn't
person you want to
shock
get
me.
advice
But
from.
also
Something KD should have done years ago.
Yeah. But also, listen, KD.
I don't think people would hate KD right now if he went to Boston.
Yeah, we don't care anymore.
I don't think
You're
so.
right.
We know what type of man he is
Wow.
in the basketball world.
Wow.
Like, he's
A
good.
legend,
Legend. Also, snake.
but not legendary.
No.
Crazy.
Wise man once
Legendary
said.
players score in OT.
Wise man once said.
Legendary players realize their foot is really big and they don't step on the line.
It's heartbreaking.
Legendary players realize Steph is one of them dudes that don't leave. That's all I'm saying.
Draymond's legendary.
If he does,
Yes, because he knows he can't leave Steph. Can't leave Steph.
Gary Payton's legendary.
if KD never leaves Golden State,
Oh, dude.
they might
We're
have
sitting at 5, 6.
Jesus.
Like, who's stopping us, man?
If Joe Tsai doesn't break up the Nets, you think the Nets have a ring by now?
No.
With Harden?
With Kyrie, Harden, and KD
Maybe one.
and Claxton.
They might get one, bro.
I'll say this. If Nets, Clippers don't get hurt that year, that is a fire-ass finals.
2022, why couldn't they do it? You know what I mean?
Not beating us.
All the facts.
Not beating us.
Respect. That's when I was a
them
fan.
dudes.
That's
when
when I was
KD
a
and
fan.
Kyrie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when it was a
KD got
fucking-
locked up.
That was Bell.
by Tatum.
Smoking on floor.
Remember you picked the Nets.
That was the same year Steph.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, you know who else picked the Nets?
Tatum was 23. Okay.
This guy also picked the Nets.
Yeah. he's
Not
an
dude,
idiot.
because I was thinking
I admit
about
my wrong and I
like,
love it.
You look at that core right now, like Kevin
Be honest,
Durant.
that was peak Drew.
He cooked.
Last year contributed to a 49-win team with the Suns, and KD's still playing at all
we talking
NBA
about?
level. Just the Nets core at the time. James Harden, just an all-star this year. He might have an all NBA case, and he's still really good
Not
right
after
now.
the way he
James
went out
Harden.
to the league.
I'm talking about regular season. Kyrie Irving last year was the
great.
second best player on a finals team.
played
If you
great
still
this
had
season,
KD, Kyrie, Harden with Claxton getting better, and then Cam Thomas off the bench, and they had Royce O'Neal still, like I feel like that team definitely
It'd
would
be
have
a lot
still been in
better 'cause
contention.
It's in the East, so they'll be the
They'll
playoff
have a
team
chance.
at least.
They'll
Like
have a chance
they're
every
a top 6 lock.
Like they could have,
for years.
they could have stuck with that team to this day. Like even that team to this day, I still think has a chance.
Wouldn't they be over the third apron or second apron? Excuse me.
For sure.
They probably would have been.
They would
would
have broke it up by now, probably.
They probably would have to get rid of Clax, and I would have killed him.
Or I don't. Maybe probably like Harden or Kyrie first.
I
honestly.
think
Keep
Kyrie
the big
probably
man.
is more important, respectfully, than Harden. Respectfully,
Yeah, as long as they
genuinely.
keep on paying it, I could see it. But yeah, they were all due for contract. Kyrie, he traded him for Dinwiddie and DFS and like a pick. His
Tough
value
trade.
was low because of the whole anti-Semitic
Yeah.
thing that they thought he posted, and then you had Harden who just got tired of everybody not playing, and he just got shipped out to Philly, and they got Ben Simmons back.
Sucked too because when Kyrie and KD were locked, they actually were playing good
That's
basketball.
very good. That was the Jack Vaughn time when they were playing good for.
Yeah, they never gave that team a chance, dude. I don't think they gave that team a chance.
I think Kyrie
Like
just
if you
wanted
make
to leave.
that big of an investment and you're an owner, you kind of got to see it through. But I think that he let his personal feelings for Kyrie get in the way.
You see Ishbia though; they tried to see what they had with this
They're
Suns
still
team.
being
and
stubborn about it.
They're kind of dog shit.
yeah. I mean,
Kind of.
sometimes
Gotta have a balance.
you got to just
There's got to
stick
be
to
a
it and
balance,
see
is
what
right.
it
Send
is.
Kevin Durant to Cleveland.
because
Because now I think they will trade KD this offseason.
What
Yeah,
does Jess
yeah.
think of Ishbia?
She doesn't think that he's a terrible owner. He just is impulsive and he made a decision, but it didn't work.
But because handsy owners, they're the worst. Usually, they're
Yeah.
like the owners that want to make decisions.
But, like,
usually doesn't work out.
I
Tend to
think
not know nothing.
I kind of side with her on how I think about Ishbia because Ishbia did two things for the Suns that I think gets overlooked because it's not a basketball thing. He lowered concessions at their arena. Their concessions are the most affordable concessions
Absolutely.
of all NBA
been there?
arenas. You can get a
I
hot
just seen on Twitter.
yeah, you can get a hot dog, a bag of chips, and a soda, a drink for $5.
That's how you should be able to do
That's
shit,
just-
man.
yeah.
$30
That's just
at
40
MSG.
is. Oh my God.
And
$40
also,
at MSG.
he made the Suns available without a paywall. Anybody that has an antenna, you can watch
real.
Suns basketball games.
We can.
Because he said he wants as much fans as possible, and you don't got to pay for it. It's absolutely free.
I respect that. From there, he's got to be like, basketball people, this is you, and he'll be good with me.
For sure. And I feel like, he just got caught up in the all-star stardom thing, but I feel like he's kind of a smart guy. Maybe he learns from it and he doesn't
Hope
make
so.
a decision like
He
that
saw
again.
his team in the finals. He's like, "Yo, this was lit. I gotta get."
He did
back
also
here."
see, what was it the beginning of this year that 28 other teams would be in our position over theirs.
Yeah,
Feels like you lack a little self-awareness.
Like, I
or maybe
think
you just
there's-
lie. I guess you should just. if
We
you're
said something
not-
like
lying is cool.
Yeah.
28 teams will send the house for the players they asked.
Yeah.
He was fake. Not all the way wrong. You know?
No.
Because I feel like there's a difference between an owner that's incompetent and an owner that is trying to do the right things, but the decisions just backfire on him.
Yeah,
I
for
feel like
sure.
that's more Ishbia, where he really wants to win. You can't say he doesn't want to win.
Mm-hmm.
They just made bad decisions. So now you got to hope that he's not that
That's
incompetent
fair.
in making those decisions moving forward. But
Super
it's
fair.
not like an owner that's like, yo, I don't care about this team. I'd rather them lose, like
do-
Dallas and trade Luka.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Do we know how involved he was on obviously the KD trade? We knew he was involved. Was he involved in the Beal deal?
I do
I
not
would
know.
I would think so.
I would assume
I would
so
think
as well.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna say that.
but that could also
everything,
come
yeah.
from the front office being like, "Hey, we think this is a good deal. What do you think?" And at that point, I can't blame him.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
Beal All-Star. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the team. And let's not even look at the
I just
contract.
don't know.
Oh, he's making
the
60
issue is
million?
if he
No
goes
big
like,
deal.
"Oh, Bradley Beal's available," like, why don't we go make something happen, guys? That's when it's an issue.
Oh, shit.
So there are two things in the NBA, and we're gonna get into the Western Conference prediction.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
Bucks and Giannis scheduled an important meeting this week. Chris Haynes said that the Bucks made contact with Giannis, and now a very crucial meeting is scheduled for next week.
We'll know more about it the week after.
Please, Giannis, stay.
And
He's
the
getting
Suns are narrowing down their head coaching search to 8 candidates.
You have the 8.
Two familiar faces: David Fizdale and James Borrego.
Oh, okay.
Those are the only.
And then
familiar ones.
other coaches that are assistant coaches, that it'd be the first time being a head coach. Sean Sweeney, who's the current assistant coach for the Mavericks. Johnny Bryant, who's the Cavaliers' associate head coach, but before that, spent years with the Knicks as their associate head coach, and he has a very close relationship with Donovan Mitchell. Jordan Ott, the Cavaliers' assistant head coach. Steve Hetzel, the Nets' assistant coach. Micah Nori, the Timberwolves' assistant coach, who took over for him when Chris Finch tore his ACL in the playoffs.
That's nuts.
That is Micah Nori. And then
Coach tearing
Dave
the ACL
Bliss,
on the sideline.
OKC's assistant coach since 2019.
So they're not interviewing Mike Malone or Taylor Jenkins. You think that's
These are the final 8. These are the
Sounds like a rebuild.
honestly that might be more on the coaches saying I'm straight rather
The
than the
Nets,
Suns.
if they
That sounds like a
hire
rebuild
the
vibe.
Nets assistant head coach, I wouldn't be surprised. For the sole fact that Jordy is
yeah.
next up. To be one of the best coaches in the league. Eventually, when the Nets figure it
I
out.
could see also them grabbing one of them Cleveland guys with the way their offense went this year.
100% fact.
I'm just happy they're not interviewing Sam Cassell.
Sam ain't leaving Boston.
No, he's not.
He ain't leaving.
Yeah, it seems like the coaches outside of the ones that have had a job before as a head coach, they're candidates that come from winning organizations outside of the Nets.
I think Fizdale being a head coach in the NBA, I feel like that time's over.
I don't disagree.
I think it's over too. He was not good with the Knicks, and he was coach for the Grizzlies, and they were all right, but nothing crazy.
But I like they're going with more unknown guys.
I'm
Even though I
all
think Malone
for-
Jenkins gonna be good, but
Taylor Jenkins in like Washington or some shit.
like a total rebuild.
Yeah.
That would move me. Him in Washington would be electric.
Like young, or if like Portland was to fire Billups, which I don't think they would.
They get an
Oh,
extension.
well,
Yeah.
If there was, Taylor Jenkins would be cool. Like somewhere where it's like you have a foundation, but it's nothing.
Should
yet.
Taylor have taken over the Spurs?
That would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been cool. I
That
saw he
would've
was
been
going.
cool.
And maybe he takes the year off.
That too.
Maybe he takes the year off. See next off season how it moves. Maybe he takes Sacramento, but I think they just hired they fully hired Doug Christie. I think.
Yeah, I'm going all in on Dave Bliss, OKC assistant coach.
Okay, love that. I love that we're just picking random
Gotta-
I'm
assistants.
going
Dave
on whatever
Bliss
name
agenda.
was the Cavs guy. We'll go with him.
Johnny Bryant and Jordan Ott.
Oh shit's two. All right, let's go. Joey.
One is the associate head coach. The other one is the assistant coach.
Assistant coach, whichever one is that.
Dells, you gonna pick one?
David Fizdale got hired.
David Fizdale. Jess looked at that shit on her phone. She screamed. She's like, I don't want David Fizdale.
That'd be crazy.
Timberwolves versus OKC Western Conference Finals prediction. Riv, we are here a couple months after you said that the toughest matchup in the West for OKC is Minnesota.
Could you also give us your Pacers prediction first?
Yeah, I got the Pacers.
Obviously, you got the Pacers. No, I'm saying obviously you got
There's
the
just no way you have the Pacers and you had the Knicks foam finger.
I told him
were
before.
going crazy.
I told I was gonna troll with it, and I wanted to touch it, the end part of it. Yeah,
What's it feel like?
fluffy,
Foam?
like ass, like nice fluffy ass. Yeah, I got the Pacers. Think they're the better team. I think they've shown in this playoffs that they don't let any type of defensive scheme, get them off their game. I think they're able to maintain a high quality looks. I think the magnet ball is there. It's
real.
Over there in
Halliburton?
Indiana. Huh?
And you believe in Halliburton?
I believe in the team. I believe in the
Rick Carlisle
I believe in
system.
Rick Carlisle for sure. I believe in Hallie and the others. I believe in the infrastructure that they placed.
Don't
on the
appreciate a
offense.
thing like that, man.
I believe in the group that they have. The group is special. The group just the way Neesmith was playing, the way playoff riser
Your goat.
Nemhart was playing. My goal.
Got to give you your flowers, man.
my brother in
You were
Christ.
wrong up until it mattered.
Yeah. And I mattered.
And it matters.
Just the way the whole team is playing, though, they're playing on all cylinders, and they've taken this underdog approach where they just feel like they're better than every team they played. I think New York is a great team, but I just think the depth of Indiana will overpower them just a little bit. They're able to be fresh and be in shape, and not be fatigued because they're able to play a ton of their guys, and their guys are quality
true.
guys.
1000%.
Can you don't miss a beat. They're able to still maintain that high quality offense, and their defense has been sound. The defense has been effective. It's been suffocating. They'll full court press you, then they'll step back. Like, it's a lot of just annoyance on defense, and I do think Brunson will have a great series. But I think Indiana got it. Just quickly shifting over to OKC.
Yes. OKC
Minnesota.
Timberwolves conference finals prediction.
I got Minnesota. I'm gonna take Minnesota on this one. What?
He's done.
Oh,
I'm done. What? I'm not an OKC fan.
You're done.
Done what?
You had a chance to come back.
I didn't want to come back. Why did you think I want to come back?
You've just been always, whenever you tweet every year, OKC's always there.
I remember I took him out, and I've spoken this year like I'm
well,
not an
this
OKC
is
fan.
this is interesting. So, why do you think Minnesota will win?
I've said it for months now. I think
heartbroken.
they're the toughest defensive matchup for OKC. I think they provide kind of like the same type of players in terms of just physical, strong guys. I think Randall playing at this level really makes you look at Minnesota just such a different way. And their defense has been sound. And I think, the way that Ant's been able to manipulate defenses, that gives them, a better quality look as opposed to SGA just struggling with those reads. And I think Minnesota's defense is going to cause issues. Rudy Gobert being in the paint is going to fluctuate things. I think the way I saw, Chet and J-Dub give you those inconsistent nights, I kind of seen Randall give it to Draymond Green, and not many people in our lifetime can say they've done that. So the fact that he did gives me confidence that he can play really well. I think it goes 6-7 games, so I think this is going to be a slobber knocker, like how they say in WWE. This is going to be a fight of hell, and I'm excited to see the series.
Interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I feel betrayed, and I shouldn't have been surprised.
You shouldn't have been.
Shouldn't be surprised.
Praying for SGA 35 though.
No, I don't want to hear that personally.
losing,
I
yeah.
really don't want to hear it. I'm gonna take OKC in 6 games. I'm gonna learn from my previous mistakes. I had OKC in 5 versus the Nuggets. Got a little dicey. They still pulled it out, even though it was a 30-point win. Basically feels like 5 games to me after that. That being said, I'm gonna respect the Wolves. Gonna go OKC in 6. Now, Riv, I don't disagree with what you're saying, the way that Ant-Man's been playing, and his jump shot's been really strong. Had the moments where, from that last game against the Lakers, carried over a little bit into that Warriors series where the jump shot really just wasn't falling, not just for him, but for the whole team. Really struggled to shoot the basketball. I think that continues in this series versus OKC. They have every answer for every facet of defense, whether it is out on the perimeter, whether it is the opposing team attacking the basket. They have guys to protect the rim, and obviously we saw that against Nikola Jokic, where they really made it difficult on him, especially in that area. I think that when you have the amount of versatile wing defenders that they do have, whether that is Caruso, whether that is Lou Dort, whether that is J-Dub, and obviously his versatility that he provides. If you need Chet to go out there and extend a little bit, you know that he can do that too, but you know he's much better as an anchor down low. There's an answer for every facet of defense for Oklahoma City. And I think that this is a series that is going to be decided by defense 100%. But I also do believe that in this series, I do look at more matchups that OKC can exploit on the offensive side. Yes, SGA has to be the best offensive player in this series, in my opinion, if Oklahoma City is going to win this series. And I think that he will be. But I do trust J-Dub to be that number 2 guy next to SGA in this series to ultimately close this one out. And of course, the contribution that you've gotten from the role players, whether it is Caruso, whether it is Casey Wallace, whether it is Aaron Wiggins, and Lou Dort, who's been the odd man out, who's been one of their most reliable guys all season long. Come playoff time, he has had his fair share of struggles over these last 2 postseasons. but the depth this team has. I think that's what it'll come down to. I think there's going to be a great matchup, defensive-minded. Rudy Gobert will have his impact felt on this series, but all in all, I'm going with the power that ultimately is OKC.
I got OKC in 7. I think it's going to be a great series. I
just smirk at him.
I think he's got a nice face. I just think I don't think it's going to be easy for either team. The way Minnesota pulls it out is if Julius Randle continues to play at this elite level, but you're also getting Anthony Edwards playing at a more consistent level. I feel like if you get both of those things going at the same time, then Minnesota has a great chance. And even still, I have OKC winning in 7. So it really is a coin flip series to me. The odds feel a little off, right? I think I would have Minnesota
much closer.
Maybe a plus 150, plus 200 compared to the plus 300 that they have. But I'm really interested to see what happens game 1, because we've seen throughout these playoffs, the team with less rest is actually winning more, right? When you think about was it? Now I can't remember what I had in my head.
But Minnesota played Golden State and lost
thank you. I was like Minnesota's right there. That's something that we saw early, right? That even though you have more rest, sometimes a team that had recently played just has more of a rhythm. And Minnesota is off a week at this point of not playing basketball, and OKC's coming off this really grueling 7-game series. Got kind of hoed that you have to play Wednesday or Tuesday after tomorrow. Sunday, and the Eastern Conference teams get the extra day. But game 1's going to be huge, because if the Thunder can take that first game, even with the shortened rest, I feel like that gives them a lot of confidence going forward. But I took it in 7 mostly because I think it goes the distance, and being at home, the experience OKC just got, against that Denver Nuggets team. And it looks like a blowout now, but they were down, 10, 11 points in that first quarter. And they had to say, oh shit, this is game 7, our biggest game. We got to come back against the former champs. They were able to do that and then put them away. And Denver didn't even think about it, in the second half. It wasn't even a conversation. So I do trust Minnesota's offense right now more, just because Randall's playing so good and so consistent that the Thunder don't really have that, right? Like you said, there's guys that step up every single game, but you can't rely on anyone to be that number 2. Julius has shown through these first 2 rounds that he can be that. But this Thunder defense, completely different than these first 2 rounds that we've seen. Like, Golden State's defense is definitely good, don't get me wrong, but when you struggle that much to score, defense puts more stress on you. So the defense that Minnesota's going to be playing this round is obviously way different than they've seen in these first 2 rounds. This is going to be the best defense you've played in your life. That's for Anthony Edwards, Julius, all of these guys. So it's definitely going to be a different battle, and I'm curious to see, can Randall continue this consistent level of play when he's playing such high competition, because they got guys that all different sizes, big and strong, that could pick you up, on the perimeter, that could bang with you down low. They have a lot of different matchups for him, even though he got the better of Draymond. So, it's not like he was out here doing against nobody, but they got a lot of different guys that can throw at him. And same thing with Anthony Edwards, man. They have just some of the smartest defenders. You've got rim protection back there. So I think it's going to be a great series. I think both Eastern and Western conferences, this is one of the best matchups we've gotten in the last few years, but I think OKC comes out on top.
You think we see some Caruso on Julius Randle?
Sure, might.
Could.
Potentially. I think J-Dub is going to start off on him.
I think that makes sense too, but I wouldn't be surprised just for the sole fact that you put him on Jokic and it made a difference.
Yeah, no, I think Caruso, he could guard anybody. He's that good. I think
he guarded him when the Bulls and Knicks play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing that you said about Minnesota facing their toughest defense, I think the same could be said for OKC. Denver's defense is not as good as Minnesota's, and Memphis' defense is not as good as Minnesota's.
Agreed.
And Julius Randle and his increased level of play, over the last 36 games, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 30-6. They have been an elite team, top 10 in offensive rating, top 10 in defensive rating. They ranked as a higher three-point shooting team than OKC in the regular season. And I think they have more depth pieces offensively to make OKC play for overhelping. I still question OKC shooters as a whole. And I think that Minnesota will be very comfortable in swarming the paint. And OKC now goes from a defense that doesn't have a rim protector to now going up against Rudy Gobert. Denver was able to stifle OKC's half-court offense in stretches with their zone defense, and they really couldn't play man-to-man. They just didn't have the personnel to do that. Jaden McDaniels guarding Shea or Anthony Edwards guarding Shea, I'm comfortable with either matchup. Then the other one takes J-Dub, and I'm more than comfortable with that matchup. I think if Anthony Edwards puts his mind to it and says, I'm going to take J-Dub out the series, I think Anthony Edwards could do that. I think he's that elite of a defender when he locks all the way in, and he could take that on that assignment. And ironically enough, the double big lineup that's been working for so many teams in these playoffs, it really hasn't been that impactful for OKC. They're only a +3 net rating when Chet and Ihart are on the floor. They're much better when Chet is just a lone 5 and they're able to space out the floor. And in those double big lineups with Ihart and Chet, they're shooting 30% from 3. So if they start off the game like that, it makes it easier to help off of Dort, to help off of J-Dub, to help off of, remain in that dunker spot. What you said earlier about them getting a lot of those easy looks against Denver, and that's Jokic just not trying on defense in a Game 7 and really could be better. That's miscommunication on defense. And I think Minnesota's defense, they have the personnel, man. Like, definitely. Mike Conley is the one that I question, but Randall, Ant-Man, Jaden, Gobert, they've all been locked in defensively. Alexander Walker, Naz Reid has his moments, but he also has moments where he could kind of piss me off a little bit defensively and not give his hardest effort. And Dante at least tries on defense. I think the difference in this series is I do agree it will be a defensive battle, but I think just as much as I'm expecting Minnesota's offense to struggle, I'm expecting OKC's offense to struggle against this defense as well. And I think Minnesota has more shooters. Dante DiVincenzo is shooting 25% from 3 these playoffs, and Alexander Walker is shooting 29% from 3. I think Dante is going to raise his game in the conference finals and become a much better shooter there.
So that's a way to look at it.
But I mean, it's too. He's a
the same shit about
J-Dub and
J-Dub. But J-Dub is a 35% 3-point shooter in the regular season.
Pretty sure Dante for most of his playoff career has been.
And last year, I know he was really good with the Knicks. But I trust Minnesota shooters to make OKC pay more. I think Minnesota could swarm in and they'll give up those Lou Dort threes. They'll give up those threes to those role players off the bench where, even if Dante's shooting poorly, that's a shot that has a higher probability of going in than, Lou Dort shooting that shot. So I just think that Minnesota shooters, because they have more of them, I think they'll make them pay more often for collapsing. And if they're hitting their shots and now you have to guard Randall one-on-one, I think that's a matchup. Like, I think Randall in this matchup, if Chet is guarding him, I think Randall will win that matchup.
No, that's baby food.
I think he will bully him all the way into the paint.
That's why I don't think it'll be Chet personally.
That's why I think it will be J-Dub or a Lou Dort on him. They'll start with somebody like that. It really wouldn't shock
me if things really start getting muddy. They can't handle him. Caruso's on him, and then help comes on.
100%. 100%.
Too volatile. I can't really. It's just a lot of.
The only thing I want to say and ask you, Joel, is, or mostly say, not ask. This defense does not have to worry about an offensive engine like Jokic anymore.
No.
And I say that where they're not selling out, or what they should not have to sell out the way they did against Denver, like they will against Minnesota. That's kind of where I'm at in terms of leaving the open shooter or selling out on a drive or trying to help on Julius. I don't think that there's a player on Minnesota with respect. Obviously, I'm talking about Jokic, so it shouldn't sound as disrespect. I think the defensive scheme will be completely different by OKC in this matchup.
It will be different, and they swarm Jokic, but that's also in large part due to him not having teammates that they really did not respect anybody. They didn't respect Christian Brown. They didn't respect Aaron Gordon. They didn't respect MPJ. They didn't respect Peyton Watson. They didn't respect Russell Westbrook. They didn't respect anybody on that team from an offensive standpoint. Where Minnesota, it's a little bit different. And I think, if you aren't overhelping, okay, then I actually like my chances with the Ant-Man, more space in the offense to kind of do his thing with Randall.
They don't need overhelp.
Yeah, and I think I think this is a great matchup. That's number one. I think it is going to be a defensive battle. I just trust Minnesota shooters more. And they've played in, I think, the most clutch games this season. Albeit in the regular season, they had a negative record in clutch games. I think that
the experience.
Yeah,
no, this is two things you said that are going against what you are predicting.
I think that experience in clutch games, because
your gut feeling,
that has flipped in the postseason. In the postseason, they've won those clutch games, especially against the Lakers. They won 3 of them against them.
They clutched up for sure.
They've won those. I think they have that experience, and I think OKC, this could be similar, but I think this is a game they get up for. I think both of them do. Anthony Edwards versus SGA.
Western Conference Finals.
But they have a rivalry dating back to last year, and this year they had a rivalry too. That Minnesota made a close to 30-point comeback against them.
Every team's getting up for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that was with all the dudes on the bench, right?
But this I feel like this is has the potential to be the next rivalry in the Western Conference.
Oh, I'm with you.
In the playoffs, and I think SGA versus Ant around a similar age, both hungry for the first finals appearance. I think Minnesota's experience and them being led by a prime Julius Randle, a prime Rudy Gobert, like both them older, having that experience, I think they'll win this series. I got them in 6 or 7. I think it's going to go to the end, and I got Minnesota winning. I think Anthony Edwards is going to perform just as well as SGA in this series. And I think that's the difference for me, is I think Ant-Man is going to perform at that type
There's
of
been
level.
a lot of differences for you. Minnesota's got a lot.
I love Ant. I think he's going to have a really good series.
He's him.
I think that there's too much that they could throw at Ant.
It don't matter. He's Ant.
Okay. You
Over
take him over
God.
God. Yeah,
Over
facts.
God.
Take him over God.
He Ant.
He can
SGA
figure out a defense.
I think SGA averages like 36 points a game against.
No, he's
Minnesota.
going to fry Minnesota.
I think he's played good against Jaden.
You better hope Jalen Clark don't come in the game.
He is the SGA stopper.
Has he been getting
He
minutes?
had the
this
game-
playoffs?
That one game.
Nah.
He had that
the
one
game
game.
after.
You
It's
better
Robbie.
hope Robbie Dillingham don't come in the game, man.
I
You
definitely
better
think
hope Rob Dillingham.
Rob
That means the
Dillingham-
game is over.
Jeez, I definitely think we're gonna get less double big than we saw against the the Nuggets.
Like I love how these teams match up. You know, you look at OKC's 5-out lineup. It's going to be Shea, J-Dub, Kaysen, Caruso, Wiggins, a combination of those, and Chet. And then Minnesota's 5-out lineup is Dante, Ant, Alexander Walker, Randall, Naz Reid.
They're gonna still probably start double big though.
And I think that lineup that I just named for Minnesota, I think they had the number 1 offensive rating in the NBA before the postseason, just as a 5-man unit. So
it's hard to get better than that.
Hey, if Dante finds that jumper, it's lit.
that's what I'm saying. Is I think he will find his jumper. I mean, it's Dante. He knows how to shoot. I think he's going to have an
can't
exceptional
argue.
It
conference
just
finals.
cracks
Can't
me
argue
up
it.
that you were just like, nah, I'm taking Minnesota shooting. Dante and Nikhil are shooting under 30%.
Because everybody else is shooting well. Those are the two that are not shooting well for Minnesota.
It's round 3, man. It's now
Nas
whatever.
Reid
what is Ant shooting from
38%.
3? Is he? That
Yeah.
volume is stupid.
Nas Reid is shooting like 46% from 3.
Yeah, it feels like it's 7.
No, Nas has been butter.
Yeah, everybody's shooting well for them pretty much. Randall dropped down, of course, but like those are the two notable shooters for them that have struggled. And Nas going up against his cousin and Shea. Like maybe he has a stinker series, but I think he's not.
So
I'm
we're
on the
two,
side of
we're
he's
2
not.
and 2. Who John picked? John had OKC, I think.
John's probably gonna pick OKC if I had to
I don't
guess.
remember.
I don't know.
If I had to guess,
I think he picked the Knicks, right?
he did pick the Knicks. We talked it over, and then he said, "I got the Knicks."
Oh, facts. He was sitting there with that smirk on his
Dude,
face.
Ant shooting 39% from 3
Oh,
on
wow.
9 attempts is nuts.
Yeah, I mean
elite.
he's still shooting well. So
And he had a game where he made 0 threes.
Yeah, he didn't get back-to-back games.
Yes.
Right?
they're kind of similar this year. If you look at OKC and Minnesota's playoff rankings thus far, they're close in offensive rating. I think Minnesota has a better offensive rating.
Makes a lot of sense why they're in this position.
OKC is first in defensive rating. Minnesota's second in defensive rating, but OKC has like a 5-point advantage over second place. But Minnesota's second, and then OKC is averaging the most deflections per game. I think at like 21, and Minnesota's at like 18 deflections per game, and they're number 4th right now amongst all playoff teams.
I'm excited.
So you think Minnesota could get the job done in OKC in a Game 7?
Yeah, they did it against
Yeah, I
Denver
heard
last
that
year.
before.
That'd
They
be
did do it
twice you
against
picked
Denver.
Last year did it against the MVP.
You know
too.
what?
All right,
too,
the
I
real
will say
question-
this is a career. It would be a career-defining
this really that-
series.
this right here.
And this one actually has some validity,
The
Mr.
real
Verdo.
both of
question
them.
is,
For both of them.
there is no flopping in this series, right? This is Minnesota till death do you part.
Minnesota, dude.
I know.
Go Minnesota, dude.
Just want to make sure, like after Game 5, if OKC takes a little lead, 3-2 or something, you know what
This
I mean?
series is over.
I just want to make sure it's
That'd be hilarious if
Minnesota
he
no
said
matter what.
Worry about creating a Celtics trade package.
Worry about getting a ring.
It's coming this year.
Nah, buddy, come on. Joel, come on. Have some dignity.
He has
Joel,
Larry.
have some
He
dignity.
has the Larry, man.
Go out with some dignity, all right? You guys just
They don't got a
better.
ring.
Larry.
They don't got a ring. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
This could
for
be the last month I could say it. I'm using.
Yeah,
Who
right.
knows?
Last couple of weeks.
Listen, until the season's over, you're still the king.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm surprised you picked Minnesota.
Me too,
call
bro.
that.
Really?
Yeah.
Thought for
You're
sure you'd
just
take
going
OKC.
all in on Did you pick OKC to beat Denver?
I didn't pick until like Game 4 or Game 3. Because I think you guys did
We
a
were
preview.
going live
Yeah,
for
you
like
did. You go
one
live, so
straight.
you did a preview.
But you didn't have a prediction coming in.
I didn't pick anybody.
Did you have a gut like?
Prediction for what?
You had to see the match and be like,
series,
oh, I
OKC
think
versus
X is gonna
Denver.
win.
No, I never really picked anybody. But then when Denver went up 2-1, I was like Denver. So I'll say like I picked Denver. But nah,
Who'd you pick? Grizzlies versus OKC.
OKC.
You anticipate the Grizzlies would win one game, right?
Yeah. Game 3.
What
The
happened?
one they blew. When Jagger hurt. In Game 4, hey. Scottie Pippen had SGA in a box in Memphis, man. I'll tell
He
you.
definitely did.
He had SGA in the box, man. Listen, man. The one was supposed to happen if they didn't blow the third.
It's nice to have a
lead.
super team, man. You could just shut the.
If somebody's favorite short ass arm player played better, I promise you, Game 3 was in the bag. You know, I promise you. Yeah, I'm talking about your guy, Desmond
on.
fucking Bain. If he played better, Game 3's in the bag. Now, yeah, Minnesota, man, we're here. Nah,
Nice.
I ain't here with them.
Yeah.
You're not with Minnesota?
Nah, I picked them, but I ain't here. You know what I'm saying? I really.
He's not. He's not.
I don't know how the comments are gonna react to that. They might be.
Yeah,
He
you are.
picked, he picked Indiana and Minnesota. I'm stunned.
You're Minnesota's number 1 hater.
You really
Really?
are.
Usually,
I
at
feel like
least.
I've talked well about them
No,
this
you-
year.
They,
I know,
don't,
I've seen
you know,
a lot
they
of
only
comments.
remember when you disrespect. That's
Yeah.
how it
They
goes.
really do it. You know
They
what?
only
I don't
remember
give a
disrespect.
fuck. I'm
I
not
don't
mad
know.
with
Have
them.
you talked well about them this year?
When it came to the Lakers in
remember enough
5, that's the
moments.
only thing.
I was
Lakers in
disrespectful. I really
and
thought
he
y'all
al-
was gonna come to play.
And he also hates Anthony Edwards. Just like doesn't like him.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Huh?
Allegedly.
Now you like him.
So
No,
you
well,
think you think there's no chance that Ant plays as well as SGA this series?
Here we go.
Here we go.
No.
No way.
Okay.
There's a way. I mean,
There's a path.
like I give you plus 5,000 odds, you're not putting 5 on it.
I mean,
anybody
so there's a
can-
way.
I'm a lot of things. I'm not dumb.
There's a way.
Plus 5,000 is different than. Do I think it'll be a reality? I don't.
Put the percent chance that he outplays him.
Percent 70-30.
Okay.
That's not terrible.
Yeah,
I thought
there's
the way he
30%
said it, it gave me 90-10
but
vibes.
I was gonna say,
that's
yeah,
why
85-15.
But hey, I respect Anthony Edwards. I acknowledge who he is.
Who's a better playoff performer in your eyes?
Right now, oof,
It's similar.
it's hard. It's really a coin flip. But Anthony
Ants
has gone
last
to
year-
2
Answer
WCFs.
last year was better than what SGA's ever done.
SGA
The only-
against Dallas.
My
was
only
crazy.
thing.
Against
That's
Dallas, he was
exactly
crazy.
that
Against
Dallas
Dallas was
series was
nutty.
insane.
No, he was.
They
but
lost. Yeah.
Last
And-
year's Ant was.
And I want to say, in my
year's
opinion,
Ant's still been
it's
really
the
good.
most impressive. In my opinion, the Sun series that Ant had last year was incredible. I say that SGA series versus
Better defense.
Dallas. That's why.
Way better defense.
Because
That's
they
fair.
threw the kitchen sink at him, and he was not missing.
With all due respect, Ant was getting guarded by Brad Beal and shit. Gotta cut.
But that's, I mean, in
God,
terms
he
of
was
like
giving you,
how
he was
dominant Ant
locking up
was.
KD though,
He
and
was.
giving you like
He
30,
was.
40
And
I've seen
game
it
seven,
before.
game 7 versus the Nuggets.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
He got bailed out. Game 7 versus
See,
the
that's
Nuggets.
me
He got
be
bailed
giving
out.
it to KD, man. It is like
I think Ant had 240 balls in the second round against Denver.
Game
he
7.
was
Game,
He had-
se-
game
game
one, he had
7
40
is a
balls.
blemish.
he
Game
was
7 is
really
definitely a little
good
blemish.
against
Who was
Denver.
better, Game 7 Ant versus Denver or Game 7 SGA versus Denver?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
SGA.
that's a no-brainer.
SGA for sure.
And do got the blow up game, so he
Who
got
was
the
better
40.
versus Denver?
I think
That's
Shea.
conversation. But
I
I
think
would
Shea
I
might
would
be
lean
slightly
SGA.
better. I think they're
That
gonna.
shit's so
I think
steady.
they're gonna go band for band with each other.
I'm
I'll be
with you.
shocked if Ant don't
I'm with
raise
you.
his level to him.
Is Halliburton
No,
gonna
no,
go
no.
band for
I
band
think
with
that.
Brunson?
So no, the question is
What?
race his
I'm
level.
asking you before you get defensive.
I
I'm
don't know.
asking you.
The thing is, which way is he getting defensive?
Is
I don't know.
Halliburton? That's why
I don't know which way.
I don't know. He just the way it felt like I'm asking. Is
Some ways it's a
Halliburton
stupid
gonna go
question.
band for band with Brunson?
Not
There's
a
no
chance in
possible
hell.
Which way are you going? I don't know which way you're
Brunson
leaning.
is gonna win that matchup.
All right.
Brunson clears
Comfortably.
Halliburton.
I'm just, I gotta ask him because you know he loves both.
Brunson's gonna
Joel,
win that matchup.
Can I ask you? Is it the question for me is play better than SGA or reach his level?
I think both.
What's
I
your
think-
question for me? I'm
I
asking.
think reach his level.
In the playoffs,
Like we're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is like
You
an
like?
even
Can he
duel.
go band for band? I still lean no.
Like, I'll be
but
shocked
like
if
it's
he
a
ain't go
better,
band
it's
for
a
band.
much better chance of me than me saying
Better.
I can see Anthony just being hourly better. than
Outright
SGA.
better would be pretty nuts. I'm not gonna.
That's
lie.
what I'm saying. Like,
Pretty
do you
nuts.
see that?
I right
I
better
think
is
go
like
right there with him.
SJ's averaging 31 and Ant's averaging like 26.
Even lower. Outright better. Because Ant's a better passer than SGA.
Yeah, probably.
Not, and no offense to SGA, love him. but
Wow.
I think one of their last
Better
wins
passer
against
than him. Wow. I don't know if I'm there.
I
might
don't.
be.
one
I-
of
yeah,
their
I don't
last
think that's
wins
crazy.
against
In 2 series we're there?
OKC.
SGA
Ant blocked SGA for the game.
SGA doesn't
I
have
remember
this
that.
You know,
reputation.
Ant
you know what I
blocked
mean?
SGA for the game.
You were geeking about that.
Where he
facts.
popped his head on the Was that
I
where?
think it was like
That was an all-time block.
Yeah, he gonna do it again.
Listen.
Ooh, love it. Clip it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
I mean, it's Ant, man. You love
I
him,
love
so ain't even
it.
mad
So
at you.
I really
That's
won't be
like
too
the
upset, bro. I really
23rd
won't be, but
craziest
I'm
thing you
just
said about him
I'm
today.
taking OKC. I really feel strongly on it. I do believe SGA will definitively be the best player in the series.
I'm with you.
Do you think the winner
the
of
second
this
part.
series is the
Don't
NBA
talk
champion?
respectfully.
I do.
Can I have a TBD, bro? Because I want to see the Knicks go, and I want to blindly
what'd you
go
say?
and
If
think
the
Knicks will
Thunder win, I feel very confident.
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
the Wolves, I think it's
Do you
definitely
think the
more
winner
of
of
a
this
conversation.
series is winning the championship?
Damn.
My heart, I want the Knicks to win a
I
championship
say-
so bad.
It's weird. I think OKC blitzes Indiana. With all due respect to Indiana.
Tough defense.
I'm
to
gonna
play
be
against
honest.
them.
I think OKC
can
I
play
think
that
he could-
style.
I would take
They could
OKC
put
in
that
5
shit.
games. Low
They could
key.
be like, yo,
Like OKC can
that
play
shit was
Indiana's
cute.
style
That's
and
dead.
guard them. I think OKC versus New York, fire.
Yeah, we have OG on Shea. We like that.
I think Minnesota, OKC, New York, fire. Minnesota, Indiana, interesting.
That is interesting.
That-
Indiana could win that series.
why won't I hate that though?
Indiana-
Like as a
I
fan
know I
of
don't. I
basketball,
love it.
I don't,
That's
there's no,
interesting.
there's
like
no bad
that.
matchup. There's no bad
you're
I
matchup.
think
right.
the only one I don't want to see is OKC, Indiana, because I think that's
That's a
genuinely
dog
five
walk.
games.
No, that's fair.
He's right.
That's
I
fair.
think
That's a dog
I
walk.
could be wrong, of course, but I think first
and I
off,
respect
it's 5
Indiana.
games.
I think that's a dog walk because I don't know what Indiana's defense looks
Like
like against
OKC
OKC.
can literally run with them and guard them, and then who's stopping SGA? Like with all due respect to Neesmith and Nembhard and shit, Donovan Mitchell just lit them the fuck up. So I can like SGA probably gonna light them up too.
Yeah, he could average 40. in this
Yeah,
series.
so
So
he
basically,
averages
the Knicks
40,
got to
oh,
come
we're
out.
No,
He's best in the
we're
world.
chat. Yo,
you can take the win. I just need SGA for it.
I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't even want to dab to this. I'm just your bro, so I don't want to leave you hanging.
Bro, I'm an SGA fan, bro.
No, you're not.
Why? Because I didn't pick OKC.
Yes.
He's unbiased. I respect that.
No, for the first time ever.
Well, it's not if it's like the Warriors or someone like SJ to me is not like his upper.
No, I'm starting to realize that. And Joel, maybe he was right all along.
I mean, your favorite player on the team's Caruso, dude.
100%.
Where does SJ rank in terms of your guys? I
I'm
feel
like,
like
7, 8.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't feel the way.
SG's easily my second
Like
favorite player on the
he's
team,
he's
though.
he's more of my like. I was right about him all along.
And now I'm straight.
Like he's like
No, I'm gonna give up on him right before he's about to reach the mountaintop.
I don't think
I don't
give up.
think
is
give
the-
up,
that's
yeah.
That's what you're
saying.
doing.
It's like
bro, that's what you're doing. You basically said, no, you're not beating Denver. No, you're not beating Minnesota because you're the better team. I'm still not going to feel
team,
confident in you.
The team, it's a team thing. No, he's
They
like my
won
storyline.
68 games.
Was there with him in Kentucky. Was there with him when they were trash. OKC.
Yo, Joel.
Seen him be great.
I was there with him with the Clippers rookie year.
Really?
He was really
I
good
can't
in
give
his
you that
first
because
playoff
you
series.
just you've stabbed me in the back too many times.
He was really good in the playoff series.
He was. He was really good. Yeah.
You know, Doc said that he never wanted to trade him. He said, nah, he's too good.
I bet he said that now.
OG has said that to me 1,000 times. Doc, he didn't want to get that kid up.
Listen, OKC is your baby. Like you got it. I don't really like outside
You
of
just turned
SGA.
your back on SGA.
No, outside
bro.
of SGA, I genuinely can't say I like anybody on the team.
Nah, I can't. There's so many players I like on that team.
No.
I don't dislike any of them.
No, like I just don't like I don't grow it like I don't have like I don't
I
I'm a big Aaron
genuinely,
Wiggins guy.
I genuinely love Caruso.
Like
I
Anthony Jones.
really like SGA.
You love chat.
Love Case. That's the one I
He
probably
hates
could do
Chet.
without.
You love
No,
Case-
no, no.
Case is your
I
boy.
don't hate
Hates
Chet.
Chet.
No, let's not get shit twisted. I just
Overrated as fuck.
Cason's your boy.
Kaysen
You're
is
there.
that's my baby, bro.
Outside
Like,
of SGA, like, yeah, you know,
they got Caruso. You lost the sight, bro.
That's you.
No, bro, that was you
you.
too
But this is
because
the
you
thing. In this
realized.
beginning of the season, he was never on the OKC got to win a chip. We were saying
You're
like
right.
this team is good enough to win
and
a chip.
I've
He
been
never
saying
really,
it
he
multiple
never really
times this
saw
year.
it.
I'm not an
If
OKC
they would have
fan.
lost to Denver, would you have felt that it was disappointing their season? Yes.
Yes, second round, yes.
If they lose to the Wolves, do we not feel like it's still
I feel
disappointing?
differently about Minnesota as opposed to you.
It's a little
Just to the
disappointing.
broad, you know what? And
Because
I
Ant got there before you, and you said back-to-back number one seats.
that's a fact.
on, man.
That's a fact.
Come on.
I feel differently about Minnesota than you guys. That's why.
I feel
No, it's a
strongly about
7-game
Minnesota
series.
too.
I think it could go either way. But
Minnesota's a really
if they
good
lose
team.
in 7, and you just went from second round to WCF. Can I really say this?
But didn't we feel like OKC is further along, like coming to the year, like as a
Well, they
contender? than-
technically got further along. 7. Like you're
Sure.
You made it
last year,
in the
definitely.
7th game, Western Conference Final. You lost to a Minnesota team.
Yeah,
that's
because
cylinders.
Minnesota stepped up and took down Denver in 7, just like
Maybe-
OKC did this year. They could have done that last year. They could have beat Dallas. It's not possible.
I'll say this: if you told me it was disappointing, I won't give you much pushback. Will I fully agree? I don't know.
Was the season a failure if they don't win a championship?
Depends how they go out.
I know how you love that.
They go
failure.
out.
I know how
You
Yeah.
won
It's not
68
great.
games. You were the best defense, one of the best we've ever seen in our lives. And you
How did they go out?
lose
5
in
games?
6 games?
Ooh, 6 games. I needed 7. I needed like
I did it on purpose.
I needed
did it on purpose.
2 minutes, 95.
I did it on purpose. No,
and
six,
you lost
in 6.
6.
You lost in 6.
Do you think it's more urgent for the Knicks or OKC to win the championship this year?
OKC.
Way more urgent? I think it's the Knicks.
I think it's the Knicks.
I think for narrative talk and for how they're going to be looked at, OKC. I think
right.
for just
Yeah.
the ceiling and how you're not going to probably have this opportunity again, Knicks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
with that.
OKC is going to be
Well
around
said.
for some
So
time.
I know we say this for every team that wins a chip, but let's say OKC wins the chip.
Nice.
Do you
Dynasty.
think that they
Like how you
have
guys were supposed
they
to.
have the best chance of all the past champions to go back to
I
back?
don't know, man.
We said that about Boston.
Yes, because they can still make a
I'm
trade
only
and get
going to
somebody
answer
better.
because it's the show, but I'm going to say
They'll have the
The
same
reason
thing.
why they do is because they're not up against
Yes.
any second apron shit yet.
No.
And
So
they
the
could
fact,
still go get a guy.
yeah, they have so much draft capital.
but
they
that
have so
would
many
speed
young
up the
guys.
second apron shit.
Like,
Well,
is
I'm saying
this
they can just
the-
go get a good ass like Cam Johnson.
Is this year's OKC team in terms of potential over the last 6 champions? They have the most
2016
potential to
Golden
be
State.
they have the most potential to be a dynasty.
I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion, I think that was the Lakers. Personally, no bias, genuinely mean that. AD getting hurt, I think, ruined our opportunity to genuinely go back to back.
Cracking the fuck up.
I know it sucks. Obviously, we lost in the first round, but we saw what AD looked like. Well, I'm being genuine. That Lakers team was the best defense in basketball. Anthony Davis was
Y'all lost
amazing.
Caruso though, right?
bro.
Or was it the year after?
It was K.
What?
No, they had
That
everybody.
you guys
still, right?
lost Caruso?
No,
That
y'all
was,
lost to the Suns.
that was 2022. That team was dog shit.
Yeah.
No, that team was
2020,
horrible.
they were just injured as shit.
That was when I said we would win 65 games.
No, 2021 was when y'all lost to the Suns.
Yeah, and we
I
were
know.
the number 1 defense in basketball. Anthony Davis went back to back. Not 40 balls, 30 balls. I think 32 points, something like that. We were easily the best team in the West that year, and we just got.
Bro, Drew's Westford got there. Drew was like 65 wins. You're getting
Now,
it done.
but Denver, or I mean,
I got fooled.
OKC's we've kind of been, prepping for this. Like, how many years in a row have they been who has the best talent under 25? It's like OKC's number 1. Who has, the chance to win a championship come to this year? They were like top 2, top 3. So if they get it done, and they still got the youth and the draft picks and Shea.
I still lean on. I'm last thing because I already got laughed at for it. 2023, the Lakers went to the WCF. So it's like we went to the championship in 2020. In 2021, AD gets hurt, but the team that ends up going to the finals, we were confident, like pretty comfortably going to beat them if AD doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, this is 2016 vibes, man. This is you got your guy, SGA. You're back-to-back number 1 seed. I believe Golden State was back-to-back number 1 seed. They didn't obviously. OKC didn't win the chip. That's the difference in 2015. But you want to
Keep growing.
You're waiting for that knock on the door of like,
Yeah, J-Dub and Chet.
all right, like so like this could be their 2016 year where they.
Who's Harrison Barnes?
Lou Dort.
Whoever's playing, yes, yeah. Because Harrison Barnes, dogs, actually one of the top reasons they lost the finals.
Not Steph.
No, he's up there too.
Oh, no,
But this dude, magnet ball, he stopped being able to shoot the ball. But yeah, they have an opportunity where they can still win a title and also go get a guy. Like
Yeah, it's
that's
lit.
the
It's
scariest thing. Like win a title and then like we still want Giannis. Like what the fuck? Like
Yeah,
that
that'd
should
be
be
crazy.
crazy.
If they get Giannis,
Chet, my
They
brother.
could shake things up, or they could just keep building organically.
am I gonna have to leave OKC's fandom if they get Giannis? I feel like I'm
You
more
have to
welcome.
stay.
I'm
No,
more
at that
welcome.
point, you're locked in. That's your team. Leave the
just-
Lakers.
I just
When
leave
LeBron
the
retires,
Lakers.
Just head over to OKC.
Laker and Thunder fan.
Yeah, like just lock in OKC, bro. Like at that point, LeBron will retire.
That
Like,
team would be nuts.
you ain't got nothing else.
I'll
You
tell
really
you
don't
what,
like Luka.
That's a fandom.
Let's just like you know what I'm saying. Let's
be
be all the way
100%
true.
honest.
No,
Giannis is over there at OKC, SGA. Like you
no,
don't love Luka.
No, I love Luka.
And if they trade Austin Reeves over there, now you're really like,
Where's Reeves going? OKC.
you're really like.
How did they get to OKC?
Listen, they can do it. It's not like they can't do it.
Am
They
I
can
getting
do it.
Kaysen?
You can keep him,
That would move me.
bro. You can feel
Bring me Kaysen.
Kaysen for Reeves?
Would you do it?
I would take Kaysen.
Would you do Reeves for Jared Allen?
I'd have to sit and think.
I don't hate it.
Ultimately,
Jared Allen's
probably.
soft. That's his problem.
Probably. I don't want to do it, but
Money
it's
wouldn't
what's
work.
best for the team.
Kaysen for Reeves isn't a terrible idea for OKC.
I would like
It's not.
Reeves for
Get
Oklahoma.
get a
okay,
bucket.
she's getting a better player.
Yeah, they
But I know
are.
it's just I'm saying
They could
for
do it.
the,
Or Isaiah.
just value-wise.
Aaron Wiggins is like 2 picks. Now you get to keep Case and Wallace.
for
Aaron
who,
Wiggins?
Reeves.
Yeah.
I'm getting Aaron Wiggins.
Aaron
You're
Wiggins
getting
and
2
Reeves?
first-round picks.
two.
First round picks are overrated.
what picks are they?
You guys needed him to get McCall. Are they really overrated?
That's why we traded them. because
Yeah,
we
nah,
didn't
they're
need them.
overrated as fuck. They gave up 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges.
They
We're in
didn't
the
have him.
conference
They couldn't use them.
finals.
They're overrated until you need them.
I just wish they held him for Giannis, but they're in the conference finals. Who cares? Who cares?
And you heard what Giannis said. He said his favorite place to play is New York.
You saw who he
He's
said.
still coming?
You saw how many times he tweeted
Maybe,
about
I
Steph?
don't know.
Yo, bro,
Yeah, I did
if
see.
Giannis goes to New York,
You know he took Tatum
I got
first
the
in
pass to just be a
All-Star
Knicks
draft
fan.
3
You
years ago.
should.
good looks, bro.
Hey, if Giannis comes to Golden State, pull up.
Oh, that's
If Giannis was at Golden State.
That's
Yo, we could
hard.
forget
Golden
everything
State is
from
crazy.
10 years.
I don't know if I could do it,
Yo,
bro.
yo,
That's
look,
crazy.
Look. We could forget everything from 10 years ago. We're on
I
the pass.
said
We're sitting at home on the porch.
when LeBron was a free agent and Golden State rumblings were in the air, the one team I said that he couldn't go to that I would not
That's
root for was
valid.
Golden State.
Yeah.
LeBron, no, but Giannis, he loves Steph. He adores Steph.
You know what? I feel like the
dick
Steph
rides
LeBron
Steph.
beef has died.
We're friends.
It's died.
Like we
They're definitely
really,
boys more
it's
than
really
rivals
us
at this
versus
point.
Kevin Durant and them. You know what I'm saying?
You're
like,
right, bro.
It's not really.
It really was always KD that made me
yeah,
hate
bro.
Golden
We
State.
have this
You know
this
what, bro?
brotherhood,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
So
Giannis to
pull
Golden
up.
State.
Yeah, pull up.
Giannis
Us,
to Golden
Jimmy,
State. I'm here.
Let's do it.
And Jimmy.
Yeah, we
so I
can
got
tra-
2
we
of
send
my
Draymond
guys.
packing.
See you later.
And Kuminga.
Oh, who cares about
Hodge,
it? Bye.
Steve Kerr.
Ah,
Everybody.
Okay, Steve Kerr too.
Fuck.
Okay, to get
Giannis.
Giannis. Wait. Steve Kerr's a part of the package. He's got to go to.
Whatever they want. Bring me Giannis. Whatever they
that
need.
mean we
No,
get
you get
Doc?
Giannis, but you need Doc.
No!
Yes. I don't give a fuck. Give me, Doc can't fuck up Steph Curry Giannis.
He'll
Can't.
find a
I
way.
bet
bro.
he
Yo,
can.
He'll find a way.
And if he does, you're done. You're done. Yo.
He messed up Dame Giannis.
Yeah, Dame Giannis. This ain't no fucking Dame, bro. This is Steph Curry. If he fucked that up, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my god.
You need to go to college.
He's got to
coaching?
Coach like Colgate or some
Coaching
shit.
university.
go to high school. Go to Mount Verde.
He's not even good enough at that point. You got to go to like Fairlawn or some shit.
Fairlawn's crazy.
Start at the bottom of the bottom.
Jesus.
So we can move on to the NFL portion
Holy
of the
shit.
podcast.
I'm not against it.
Do you think that the extension the Niners gave Brock Purdy closes their window for contention?
What do you think? Because we've had fights. We've had what made people think we're not friends with how the arguments have come about with Brock Purdy.
Not wrong.
We've had screaming matches, yelling matches. One can say you were right. Others can say I was right. But we both have a case for being right. Now, Brock Purdy gets just money. I think
Mr. Irrelevant got paid.
the money isn't the biggest problem. I think the biggest problem is the thing after that, and that is a no trade clause. What are your thoughts on it? I'm curious because you've been on this very nasty fence of Brock
Is this
Purdy.
the first no trade clause in NFL history?
It's fucking nuts if it is.
I think
It's not
the
the
no
first.
trade clause is
Look
Hope
it
it's
up.
cap.
meaningless
I agree.
because in the first 3 years of Brock Purdy's deal, they can't trade him anyway. There's too many guarantees involved. They eat up a ton of dead
Yep.
cap. So for the first 3 years, you can't trade him anyway.
First of all,
so we're
shout out
talking
to
about
Mr.
the
Irrelevant.
fourth and fifth year, and at that point, you can just cut him for dead weight or whatever like that if it comes to that. But I don't think the no trade clause is that big of a deal. Number one, he got $265 million over 5 years.
Congrats.
That's a lot of money, and for
Last
somebody
pick of the draft, Dels.
that was
Trey Lance,
making
how much he got?
Jeez.
30 mil
Yeah,
maybe?
who knows
I
where
don't
he's
know.
at now? You
Dallas
still no? I think he's not in Dallas
I think he
anymore.
got cut, bro.
But Brock Purdy was making
need to change the scenery.
$800,000 in his salary, and for him to get that type of raise is cool to see. He was rooming with a teammate of his and living at
How much do you
his
think Cali
house.
Texas is kicking his ass on that
It's
one?
probably
Yeah,
a
he's
lot
on
of
Chargers.
money.
Trey Lance. Facts.
So he's like getting like 38
Yeah,
out of
he'll
it?
never play again.
It's a possibility. I don't know
Lucky to
the
be a
exact
backup.
numbers of it, but I think that this is the exact type of deal that a quarterback in his market is getting right now.
100%.
I was kind of shocked at the fact that Tua ended up getting more money than Brock.
Was better than him.
I think Brock's better than Tua.
What does he do better?
And I think he
Topic for
doesn't
the
get
other day.
injured. So
Does
I think
nothing.
that's
Number one.
Doesn't get
Just stay
injured.
healthy.
Availability is the best
He
ability. You tell me
literally
that all the time.
towards UCL in the in the NFC Championship game.
He missed like a half.
He got hit. Remember?
No,
We hit him.
I understand. Yeah, Tua's gotten hit.
But Tua's more injury
Tua
prone.
gets
though.
hurt every year,
He's got a
respectfully.
concussion.
Yeah.
Damn,
Brock,
those are
not as
brutal.
much.
It's literally concussion.
Those be brutal.
I know that's
his
is that not
concussions are
scary.
brutal.
I'd rather that than, or I mean, I'd rather like a sprained ankle.
Brock-
you know what I
No,
mean?
no, but
Yeah.
he didn't have just a hit. He literally had to get a UCL repair surgery.
He came back and he was fine.
He was pretty great.
Yeah, I
Actually
was
amazing,
shocked.
He
man.
was, but Tua did come back after the concussions and lead the league.
It's
in
unfortunate.
yards.
Tua just like he gets hit. It's just like
Nah, it's sad. Truthfully, it really does break my heart. But continue.
But
sorry.
yeah, you know, I thought that him getting less money than Tua when
And Jordan
he
Love.
might have had more leverage. Yeah, they're around the same. And
he's better.
I'm just shit talking.
no, but I think
Jordan
Brock
Love is
Purdy.
overrated.
No, it's not. But I think Brock Purdy.
Never
The
let that down.
181 million guaranteed is what really matters in the deal the most.
Yep.
It's basically a 3-year deal. You have outs after the final 2 years, and the percentage of the total cap that a player is accounting for is the most meaningful because you know you could get 53 million, but what's that a percentage of? If it's a percentage of 100 mil, that's half. So that's half to a player, and the NFL salary cap is up north to like 289 million. So Brock Purdy's percentage of the cap that he's getting is 19%. There are quarterbacks that have signed an extension with a higher percentage of salary accounting against the cap. In recent memory, since 2021, it's been Burrow, it's been Allen, it's been Herbert, it's been Kyler, it's been Hurts, it's been Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Deshaun. All of them are above 20%. The only quarterback that signed a smaller extension with their salary accounting for lower percentage of the cap was Daniel Jones at 17.8%.
What a great deal.
And Brock is
Dave Gettleman
13th
Cook.
in percentage of contract that is guaranteed amongst all quarterbacks.
Joe Shane.
So I think Brock Purdy getting this money, if he's
Dylan
the
Johnson,
13th most guaranteed quarterback getting paid,
That's valid.
when you have quarterbacks that haven't gotten paid yet, like Jaden
CJ
Daniels, CJ Stroud, I think that's around the ballpark that Brock Purdy's worth. I think the conversation that matters more is whether or not the Niners are a good or great organization to the point that they can build around this expensive of a quarterback. Because now you're not paying a quarterback $800,000 anymore. That was the best value you can argue in the history of sports with how well Purdy was playing at the time. And he played last year with all the injuries that they had. You know, they had injuries to all their best players, and he still finished top 10 in QBR. And I thought he made some strides as a scrambler, and he took a
Purdy praise. Right
back
here.
Step back
He
in
took
the
a step
pocket.
back in the pocket and processing the field and letting the ball go quickly. He did hold on to the ball longer, but overall, Purdy had a pretty promising season given what he had as a supporting with his supporting cast. And the Niners lost more games due to special team errors. Even though Purdy wasn't good in the fourth quarter, I think when trailing, he was like 20th in QBR. So those definitely showed, and the limitations in weather showed too last year, I thought, in the rain games and in the snow game with Buffalo. But a lot of quarterbacks can't play in those type of in weather conditions. I think it's really about how much you trust the Niners and building a team around him. We would all pay Joe Burrow in a heartbeat the money he got. He's a franchise top 5 quarterback in the league. But we don't trust the Bengals. So they don't have a good chance of competing with a quarterback making that much money because they're just unable to build a good roster around him. And this year, we're about to put that to the test of how well the Niners can draft, because I counted about 9 players that are going to start for them that are rookies or second-year players that are on their team. You have Ricky Pearsall,
I'm in.
Dominic Puny,
We'll see.
Isaac Guerrero, who's going to be their backup, but with CMC's injuries, he could have a bigger
what's up with
role.
CMC, man?
Michael Williams, they drafted in the first round. They drafted 2 interior defensive linemen, CJ West and Alfred Collins, as run stuffers. I think they're going to play. Bernardo Green, their corner. Malik Mustafa, their safety, who now replaces Hufanga. And Nick Martin, who I forgot what position he plays exactly, but they drafted him to fill a certain need that they had on their team. So those are 9 players, most of them being starters that they're going to rely on next year to take a big jump. And moving forward, when you pay a quarterback this much money, you need to make sure that you're drafting well and you're maximizing players on rookie deals. And that's the only way you're going to compete. You know, it's no more that you're going to have 10 all-pro players with, all of the roster that's stacked with Purdy making this type of money anymore. And they just extended Fred Warner, which is good news too, because he's arguably the best linebacker in the league. I think he's the best linebacker in the league right now. So it's really about the organization. I think Purdy gives you a solid floor. He is a good quarterback. He's going to give you a solid floor. Is he going to do things over the top? Do you have to have a roster that is a little bit better than opposing team's roster for you guys to win? Absolutely. But he's a quarterback you can win with. And the alternative in all these conversations is always, what is the alternative? If you don't pay a Brock Purdy, are you going to sign Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston for a year? Would I rather, if I was San Fran, pay what I paid Purdy or pay what Seattle paid Darnold? You know, I think you can make the argument with how long Purdy's been in San Fran's system. You probably lean Purdy. So I think overall it was the deal that he was going to get. It's the market value. And it just matters about whether or not they could build a team around him. We all know that he's not going to be an uplifter. Like those guys that make that type of money, the amount of quarterbacks that make an exorbitant amount of money and that you actually trust can win are very few. I think Dak is a great quarterback. He's getting paid $60 million. He's overpaid. And he is not going to have a good enough team to be able to go on deep playoff runs. And he hasn't done it yet. And he's making $60 million. But if I'm the Cowboys, I would have paid him 10 times out of 10 because what's the alternative? So I think overall, if you're another team, you got to just keep a quarterback that can play well. And if you don't trust that quarterback long term, you try to find quarterbacks in a draft that you can take a swing on to move forward.
I hate that Dak is the guy that usually does get shit on, and you know, Cowboys lose every year, so I get it. I think Dak is great.
He is great.
I think that I hear overpaid, and I understand the sentiment because of course the Cowboys, they lose every single year, but I think he is the MVP of that team every single time he steps on that field. Of course, co-MVP with Micah. He's unbelievable. However, when it comes to Brock Purdy, I'm happy for him. Mr. Irrelevant to being one of the highest paid quarterbacks in NFL history. Deserved. Dude was awesome last year. The year before that, he was even better. He's great. I respect him, man. Listen.
So Dak is number one in salary in
NFL.
Yeah.
He definitely is overpaid.
He is.
For as great as he is.
Overpaid?
If you're
I
Dak
can't.
Prescott, there's Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. There's dudes.
Well, that's because it was his time.
Well, Lamar's gotten paid. Mahomes gotten all these dudes have gotten
but
paid.
not
Burrow.
recently.
I think Josh just got paid.
Dak was recent. It was last year.
No, agreed. That's what I'm saying.
But $60 million.
Josh had a chance to be and decided not to. That's him. That's him.
That's a real nigga.
OD.
Yeah.
Josh definitely deserves to be paid more
Dak
than
had
him.
the huge contract too, the first extension, like what, 2021 or
And
2 or
I
something
would
like that?
say at that time, rightfully so.
No, he definitely deserved to got paid. Deserved to get paid.
And
It's
this
just-
time,
yeah.
he got paid the year after. He had his best season.
It's just what I'm saying is it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of
but
money.
you still pay it.
You
because
have to.
There's not another option.
Like Goff. I feel like if you would have said Goff, I really would have understood your sense, or I really would have
more
really
comparable.
gone more in
Yeah.
on what you're saying. I feel like Dak, I got to defend him for whatever
Those are
reason.
the deals, though. It's the Tua, the Goff deals. That's kind of like the Purdy deal.
Go ahead, say the name too. Like if you're gonna say those guys,
Purdy?
Jordan Love.
Oh.
No, Jordan Love has the talent to be an elite franchise.
No. He's
That- but that's
overpaid
not
until
what I'm saying,
proven.
but
He's
like,
overpaid until proven.
No, he's not overpaid.
No, he's overpaid until proven.
No.
Stop it.
You would say,
Enough.
all right, so
Enough.
All right,
Yes.
so if that's the case, then Trevor Lawrence, we're valid.
Well, Trevor Lawrence is not as good as Jordan Love.
Not as good.
No, he's not.
Next year, he
Jordan
could be
Love had
better than him.
back-to-back 4K seasons with 30-plus touchdowns, where 25-plus passing touchdowns.
So you think like there's a talent discrepancy between the two?
They're also
Between
just
Love
the
and
situations
Lawrence?
are crazy.
No, I don't
Green
think there's
Bay,
a talent discrepancy.
Trevor
Green
Lawrence is gonna be better than Jordan
Green
Love.
Bay's been a good organization our whole lives.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's
No,
been
he's
a
not.
joke most of our lives.
I think Lawrence's pocket presence is not on par with Love's. I think Love has
I feel like offensive line.
I was
arguably
gonna
the best
say
pocket
this
presence.
dude's
like,
offensive
scared
line
as hell.
dude.
Matt LaFleur is pretty nice to have.
his pressure sack ratio has been dropping since a rookie.
I agree. I believe
Offensive line
that. I
hasn't gotten
believe
better.
that.
But in his rookie year, his offensive line was bad, and he was actually
terrible.
really good
Yeah.
pocket presence. He has noticed we
I don't
got him more
think
jitter in the
those
pocket.
two are too far off.
Listen,
Next
get
year,
hit-
either
get
of them
hit
could be
every
better
year,
than the
every
other.
game. That shit takes.
I
a
think
toll.
Jordan Love, he has a good offensive line. It's not elite. He doesn't have elite playmakers. He has good playmakers, but
Love just didn't do
amongst
anything.
the top of amongst like players in the league or teams in the league is near the
He
bottom.
didn't do anything last year that you looked at the year prior and been like, oh shit, now here's a progression we're seeing from Jordan Love. Last year was just inconsistencies.
there aren't many quarterbacks that unless you trade for an alpha number one make that type of leap.
Fair.
But he was amazing to close the season with similar personnel.
And then
Yeah,
And actually a
defenses
worse
adjust.
running. Let me not say worse running back. That's cap because
But
Aaron
his
Jones was
receivers,
amazing to
I
end the
think
year.
he was top
It's
number
not even
one.
making an alpha leap. I'm not expecting him to be like top 5.
No,
but
I
last
wasn't
year it's
either.
just-
Number one.
I was expecting him
in
to
drops
be around
percentage?
like a firm top 10 after last year.
Well, I think he is a firm top 10.
I can't say
You can
that.
argue Baker Mayfield is better than him.
No, you cannot.
Baker's been there the last
Baker's
2
not
years.
a better quarterback than Jordan Love. No, he's not.
Close.
Statistically,
He's been
Statistically,
like one
Baker
of the 10
was
best quarterbacks.
damn
I
near top
agree with you.
3
I
much
wouldn't
last
take
year.
Baker over him, but
You can argue
There,
he's been
we
better.
know plenty of people that would.
oh, you can. I know way too many.
Like you
We
can
know
make
a
a pretty,
village
you
that
can make a
would.
pretty good argument. Like last 2 years, Baker, Jordan Love.
No, I
Baker's
think
played better.
Jordan Love last year the Packers suffered from number 1 in drop percentage, and
Hey, one of your
he
boys.
also I think the
Wicks.
mobility he didn't have it. Last year
Yo,
it wasn't there.
I meant to talk to you guys about this.
You
Did
meant
you
on Taven
see
Wicks.
who he dropped?
He dropped Wicks.
He dropped Wicks.
on Tavian Wicks.
Sleeper.
I drafted too many rookies, man.
He dropped Wicks.
I had to sacrifice them.
Yeah, that's an easy cut.
No one rushed to pick him up.
Oh my God.
But Brock Purdy. We're talking about
It's
Brock
actually
Purdy.
my biggest fear that
He
somebody's gonna
breaks
pick
out
him
now?
up when he plays well.
Well, trust me, there'll be some game. Remember last year, I think maybe Jaden Reed goes down. They have a matchup against Arizona.
2 touchdowns.
They're one of like the best matchups. Everyone's rushing to get Dontavian Wicks, and then 2 weeks later, it's like, okay.
I give up on players, man. I traded MSJ.
You were locked in on.
Did you see the picture of him in media?
No.
I don't know what happened. He might be on steroids.
Oh, really? I see.
He's got balloon arms.
Sheesh.
He's massive.
Sheesh.
Maybe working out pops.
I can't believe you traded him.
I got
man.
Brees Hall back.
You know,
You're
I don't know. I don't
stinks.
think you believe in him
He,
though.
no, he got Brees Hall in a third.
Well, I'm forced to now.
You are forced. I mean, you should be forced to because it's your favorite team.
Well, my 3rd round pick was who was it?
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams, or
No.
Kyle Williams.
Tootin.
Or you had 302.
You had Tootin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Basial. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
I-
Who,
Good draft,
who
man.
fumbled today? You saw?
We overlook it.
Jamar Chase had drops.
Talk! Oh my God, Tootin and Jamar Chase combos.
CeeDee Lamb had drops too. I saw Would You Rather the other day of the CeeDee Lamb one. Somebody here picked Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, just never ever. You'll never let me
Shit's sad,
let it go.
man.
Man,
Shit.
I saw
Shit's
I
sad.
saw this stat from Scott Barrett. Just to real quick get back to
It
our
was you,
Purdy
by the way.
talk.
Yeah. Scott Barry's from NBC.
Yo, we just hired Joe Douglas.
You
Where's
did
he from?
Eagles?
fantasy points
Never
data.
mind. Yeah, I was off.
But regardless, I think the Purdy contract is firm. I think the only not even gripe is just whatever quarterback Shanahan has had, it's just been great offenses. So that's like your only, well, what if we can't get a replacement level guy? Since 2017, which was Mahomes' rookie season, and the same season Shanahan took over as head coach of the Niners, Kansas City is the only team that has a higher EPA per dropback than San Francisco. Through all of the quarterbacks, Jimmy G, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, Hoyer, of course, Purdy, Trey Lance for a couple games. They still have the second
he
highest
was good, man.
EPA per dropback. So I think Shanahan just puts together an offense that no matter what quarterback's back there, they're gonna
How
succeed.
was Brandon Ayuk gonna look?
They got Saleh for defensive coordinator. They got an easy schedule. I think they're gonna have like 12 wins this year. I'm in
12?
on San Francisco.
Okay,
yes.
turn me up. I'd
I'm
be here
in.
for
I
that.
know-
You've been a Purdy guy.
I
I've
know
noticed
last
it.
year I was out on San Francisco. They still made the playoffs. I think I predicted them maybe to miss.
You did.
This year though, really Saleh, not a good head coach, but he proved to be one of the best defensive coordinators.
100%.
And there's a lot of young players, that's fair. But he showed, like, even as his first year progressed in New York, that defense could get better within a year. Then year 2, we know how great it was. So that's a big get for them. And yeah, you're going to be healthy. CMC is going to be back. He didn't play basically all of last year. Ayuk basically didn't play all of last year. Ricky Pearsall,
not
towards the end
scary
of the
for you,
year,
though?
played pretty damn good.
Like, are you not scared about that?
Nick Martin, linebacker.
Oh yeah, facts.
For
That's the Drake
CMC.
Greenlaw
CMC,
replacement.
definitely.
Injuries and then he didn't.
But
play the
also,
whole
it's
year.
like whatever running backs in Shanahan's system is
fact.
probably going to be good. I wouldn't have traded Jordan Mason. That he was so good in CMC's absence.
But Garendo looked good too.
He did.
in his games.
I trust him when it comes to finding a competent running
and
back.
that's the thing. If Shanahan has had success with so many quarterbacks, and he's committed to Brock Purdy long term. Maybe
knows something.
he committed to Jimmy
smarter than
Garoppolo
Rose.
long
I
term
have
too.
Purdy
so.
and pick a side.
I'm not
He
saying that
committed to
Purdy.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, I'm not saying
What
that
do you want from
What
him?
if you got a
Purdy's
chance?
Jimmy G, but
What do you want from him?
I don't know. I just see your team. My
Don't
second
trade with
quarterback.
this guy. He's so stingy. He's
Brock
so
Purdy. He
stingy.
can't be that stingy.
You traded Jordan Love from fucking Miles Sanders, man. I can't believe you did
I
that.
wasn't playing in that league.
This is the same league we're talking about.
Oh shit! I thought it was this other one. The other one we're in.
We're
There's
only in
no
one.
other one.
Are we not in 2?
No.
Just pick a side.
yeah, thank God he gave me Jordan Love.
It's-
needed that.
it's-
I'll trade you anything for him. But
Yeah, I
it's
kind of.
dumb.
Unless you have
Look-
a quarterback,
look at my
you can
team.
give me.
Go check my team real quick. Is that my slavery team?
Yes.
Ah!
You have Stroud, Williams, and Dak.
What?
It's the team that ended.
Slavery, yeah. Sorry. Team that ended.
Team that ended slavery team?
Because we did. Who's my quarterbacks?
You have C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, and Dak.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, why
You don't need
I
Purdy.
don't need bro.
Nah, but what you said, Dels, is about those young players. I really believe in San Francisco's the young players that they drafted. I think this draft, getting Michael Williams, who is a really good run defender, he could rush the passer. C.J. West and Alfred Collins, those are two big bodies. They made it a point of emphasis to be able to stop the run with their draft. And then Renardo Green last year, I liked him a lot.
I know.
Marvin Harrison's huge.
Well, Malik Mustafa, I loved him a lot last year. I thought it made sense moving on from Hufanga because they have two safeties, Jair Brown and Mustafa, that are good. So I think the Niners could bounce back in a major way just because they're going to be healthier. And really the floor for a lot of these Shanahan coach teams has always been the conference championship.
If they're a healthy quarterback, yeah.
Yeah. But okay, this is Jordan Love 2024 stats. 8 yards per attempt, 5th in the NFL. 5.9% touchdown percentage, 8th in the NFL. 69.3 QBR, 5th in the NFL. 0.211 EPA per play, 8th in the NFL. 6.31 accuracy value, 5th in the NFL. And then they just compared him to just a ton of quarterbacks and how he was performed better than them. So with Baker, against Baker, he had better yards per attempt, a lower interception percentage, ironically enough, a better QBR, a better accuracy value, and much better pressure to sack ratio than him.
I don't know. I'll take Baker.
No, I'll take.
Yeah, you're taking Baker.
I'm taking J Love,
I'm
baby.
taking Jordan Love.
You know, God forbid the Packers get my boy wide receiver number
They're
one.
trying. I mean, they drafted Watson. They got Golden this year.
They drafted
Dobbs
Watson
is
before
solid.
though.
Huh?
Before he took over, they drafted
I
Watson.
know. I'm still invested. High draft capital in him.
Yeah, so
Second.
through 32 games, Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love, 63.7% completion percentage. Rodgers was at 64.2. Love has 57 passing touchdowns. Rodgers had 58. Love had 22 interceptions. Rodgers had 20. Love, 96.3 rating. Rodgers, 98.5 rating. And Rodgers' receivers were Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, James Jones.
Listen, they both start at the same place. We know where Rodgers got to.
We know where J Love gonna get to, baby.
I don't know if he's gonna be a 4-time MVP.
J Love. I mean, you never know. You never know. You never know. He might be Super Bowl champ. That's
Could
what
be.
he's gonna be.
So is
Ho,
Rodgers.
ho, 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 ho.
J Love, baby.
Super Bowl what?
Super Bowl champ.
Didn't you said that last year?
It's gonna happen eventually.
Bell.
How many times has he thrown for over 200 yards in the playoffs? Once in 3 games?
Eagles defense.
And
Niners
Didn't you
win.
say you
Niners.
picked them?
Not that game.
No, I'm saying you picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl.
Before the season started, yeah.
And then you said the first week we played y'all was a fluke.
Yeah, pretty shitty field.
And then,
And then we played on turf and we whipped y'all
Then
ass.
you guys played on. Did they switch fields when you
No,
guys
we
were
played the
like
same
you
field.
played on a great field, they played on a shitty field? How'd they
Nah.
do that?
I don't know.
I'm just saying there was
They're like
some
different levels,
blatant
like one's a good
drops
field.
in that
Oh,
game.
you saw the blatant blow by AJ Brown did to Jair?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty cute. You saw the Jordan Love interception?
You saw
Don't
the
forget
Jordan Love
one of
drop Wicks
like
touchdown.
70
Yeah,
of
I
Jaden
see
Reed's
all that.
Yes,
from
I
Jordan
saw-
Love's yards with a
I saw
Jaden Reed
Wicks
broken
drop- I
play
saw
was
Wicks
wide
drop
open.
pass.
He needs some help. I'm saying
I
he needs
saw
some
Wicks
help.
drop a
gets
pass
blessed.
yet again.
He
you
needs
know?
some help, man. He needs some help.
That's the guy you
J
ride
Love
for.
would be the best quarterback that
Jordan
you
Love.
ever had in your franchise, bro.
It's
Easily.
your franchise too.
I know.
Should have been Rodgers.
I know.
Should have been Rodgers.
So the last one we'll talk about is Caleb Williams. There was an article that came out from this book that Seth Wickersham is working on. He wrote this book about the Patriots dynasty. And in the article, in the book, what he's writing a book about quarterbacks at every single level. So like how quarterbacks prepare for things, high school level, college level, rookies, the best of the best. And there was some pretty noteworthy quotes. Carl Williams, who's Caleb's dad, said, "Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die." Caleb told his dad, "Do I want to go there? I don't think I can do it with Shane Waldron." And then his dad also said, "I don't want my son playing for the Bears." He told that to several agents. And Caleb told his father that I need to go to the Vikings after he met with Kevin O'Connell.
Don't blame
It
him.
was so bad about wanting to go to Chicago that they even considered Caleb maybe taking a year and playing in the USFL. So he could be a free agent and then go into the NFL. And Caleb ultimately says, "I wasn't ready to nuke the city. So that's why he ended up just going to Chicago. And during the season last year, he said, "No one tells me what to watch. I just turn it on when in regards to watching film and what he should watch." So overall, how do you feel? This makes Caleb look a little peek inside what happened before the draft process and then in the season of the dysfunction that was the Bears.
I will be upset if people take this and use it as negative towards him, because if he was wrong, I would be like, all right, shake your hand, get where you come from. Everything he just said there, he was spot on. I don't know how I feel about being in a Shane Waldron offense. I understand. In hindsight, you're 1,000% right. I want to go to Minnesota.
Who doesn't?
Did he not chef?
Decent.
Is he not 1,000% right? Imagine Caleb with Jettas, with Jordan Addison, with Hawkinson, with Kevin O'Connell calling plays.
Could just stop the Jettas.
I mean, Jesus.
And he would have learned under Sam Darnold for a year.
No, the fuck he wouldn't have. Sam Darnold
They probably would have got him.
Dude, it's Caleb. He was playing.
Not true. But I'm saying maybe minimum. He didn't get much of a contract, did he?
Caleb's playing.
He would have learned a lot from Sam.
Brother, Caleb was playing no matter what, dude.
That being said, I'm not mad at this. The only thing I'm mad at is that I guess that the dad was very vocal about, shitting on the city. That's the only thing I don't like, especially because we envision him being a Chicago Bear for lifer. Like, that's kind of what I think, at least, or that's the hope, that he does go ahead and change the franchise. But other than that, I really don't have any problem with this. This is just some guy's honest opinion being laid out there. And the honest opinion ended up being spot on. So I have no issue.
Yeah, I don't got any problem with it. I think if Caleb was my son or I'm in Caleb's shoes, I'm thinking about all my options, because ideally I don't go to Chicago, but he made the right decision because there's really no way out of it. And if he would have done whatever plan he was, I know part of it was like to try to find loopholes in the CBA to become a free agent. It just would have been a bad look. You still, at the end of the day, got to go into those locker rooms, see everyone's faces, see the coaching staff, the owner, your teammates, and to be really the only person we've seen, I guess, like Eli back in the day and whatnot, but, this last 15 years or whatever you want to say, really have not seen any guys try to take control of their destiny like that. And even though maybe it's better for him personally, that's, I feel like, hard, especially coming into the NFL where he was kind of labeled, the painted nails, the pink phone, just kind of labeled as soft already. That would have been even harder for him to sell to the rest of the teammates. So I think he made the right decision. But it's also a valid discussion for him to have with his dad that he probably thinks is never getting out. No one's going to talk about it. I mean, if all of our discussions private that went out there, know what I mean?
A lot of us are going to jail.
Know what I mean? So thankfully,
what do you mean by that?
I'm just saying there's things that we would have made the wrong decisions on. You know what I mean? We made wrong decisions or right decisions, but Caleb made the right decision.
This guy, man.
I think he kind of was just making a broad statement, you know what I mean?
You should have saw the hand. It was.
I saw it. But I felt it.
It just.
You didn't feel it?
I did. As we say, some of the craziest things known to man. Listen, I'll say this.
You said something on the pod.
Who?
You.
What'd I say?
Not today, just in general.
Oh, yeah. We've cut some things out. We've always cut some things out. I don't really have an issue with Caleb. Listen, Chicago has been a toxic, environment for maybe the past 4 or 5 years to my knowledge. Even with the Justin Fields stuff prior, and how him and the coaches didn't get along. Chicago just in general, that organization, and then the way the fans are treating him, like Dell's mentioned about the painted nails and stuff like that. I think a lot of quarterbacks would want to go to Minnesota. I think a lot of quarterbacks would want to play for, the coaches out there, Brian Flores and Kevin and O'Connell and them boys. I think they would want to see Jettas, Addison, TJ Hawkinson on the field making plays. Cool. That's one of the best, offensive rooms in the league. I think Caleb was just thinking about what would be easier for me. Where could I win? And I think the things he said about Shane Waldron was correct. This year was a shit show for Chicago. It was just nonstop drama, toxicity, constant bashing of Caleb. And, he was just, like you mentioned, being open-minded and just speaking his truth. And I think people are probably going to overreact to it because that's Chicago media and that's just people in general. And they're going to make it a big fuss. Oh, he doesn't want to be a Bear. Oh, he doesn't really care about the fan. But in reality, nah, he was just speaking his piece. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, the offense was so dysfunctional last year that I wish we actually got Caleb in a situation where he could have succeeded, because I think he would have. And in hindsight, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in a bad situation isn't bad. He lost a lot of EPA with the sacks though.
Yeah,
So he
the
took
sacks
the
are
most
so
sacks
bad.
in the league.
Sacks
and
are so bad.
I feel like the sacks were a big part of just like not having a plan. Not having somewhere to go with the ball and trying to make a play.
Just going up there blind a lot of the time.
Yeah, just because there was a lot of quick pressure towards him, so sometimes he just took sacks just cause. But that needs to get better in this game overall. I think that the Bears are in a good situation with Ben Johnson, and I think I'm expecting some big things from Caleb this year. I think he's going to show people why he was the number 1 overall
Where
pick.
do you have them finishing in the division?
The Bears.
Over your Packers? Because they're probably the worst team.
They could finish as high as second.
I like Minnesota.
I do too, which is why I say as high as second.
I
And
think
we know
it's
Detroit's
tough.
won.
I think it's tough. I think Detroit doesn't win the division this year.
Here we
I'm
go.
praying on it.
The year
I heard
the streak
that.
ends.
You better hope it, baby. You better hope, because I'm gonna need apologies. No bullshit. This is gonna be the first time I watch you apologize to me.
I got
Who's going to win the division?
the Vikings or Packers
The what?
First is like the division. Anyone but the Lions.
or the Bears. I can see
you,
it.
have, you honestly.
I'll be honest, the Packers got the least odds, bro.
They do. They're number 4.
Are they actually?
No, I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh.
I thought you said that as
That
like
in my head.
somebody that like looked at the odds.
No, in my
like,
head, I
what?
feel like if the Bears just break out, they could have one of those special seasons.
What's
The
more
Lions
likely
are
to
great,
happen?
Vikings are great.
Packers win the division or Quentin Johnson gets 1,000 yards?
Packers win the division.
Packers win the division.
Are we positive
Absolutely.
about that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have Trey Harris now.
Because they
too.
both have similar outs. I don't.
Yeah, no,
see
I
it.
think
Damn,
that
he's violated.
Yeah, that's
yeah, no,
nuts.
that's
Quentin
crazy.
Johnson, 1,000
Yeah, no, I
yards.
think the Bears. The only thing that
They didn't
scares
beat
me
them at all last year.
is the defensive line for them. I just don't think the defensive line causes any havoc at all. That's my thing.
Green Bay, they went 0-4 against Detroit and Minnesota last year.
They did. They did.
Brutal.
Chicago should have beat them too.
Brutal.
But I think field goal was blocked. So
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal.
no, yeah, but I think the Packers will bounce back brilliantly. I mean, they had Jordan Love at quarterback. So
Brilliantly.
when that happens, you got
Yo,
a
I
chance.
feel like Jordan Love. You know what? Let me stop. Let me not be disrespectful because honestly, I don't have no beef with you, Green Bay.
What's Jordan
Packers.
Love?
I just feel like when he goes onto the field, like just speaking from my team, right? Experience. When we got on that field and we looked across and we seen Jordan Love, there was no fear. There's
no fear.
okay, like he's a handsome guy. You know, he looks like he should
Looks
be
like
nice. He
What
looks
quarterbacks
like
do you fear?
Josh, Lamar. For Eagles, Baker,
Jaden.
Really?
Jaden. Shit. Yeah, Mahomes. Jaden's fucking this guy. Herbert. You know,
Fear Herbert.
to a degree,
I
regular
get it.
season. Don't fear Jared Goff.
Why would you?
Tua, no shot in hell.
Well, we know that.
Jordan Love is in that comp. No fear. No.
Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah, you gotta fear him.
Yeah,
He
Jordan Love's
scares
mad
me.
competent.
Geno Smith.
Yeah,
no. No. Nah. No, not really. That's
Dak.
it. No. Dak do be lighting us up, but
He
no.
do be lighting y'all
but
up.
no fear. Because we know at the end what's going to happen. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. Yeah.
CJ.
Well,
They ain't play
obviously-
him yet.
Obviously not. No.
More than Jordan Love, I'll tell you that for sure.
You don't fear CJ more
Yo,
than
CJ Stroud.
CJ
or
Stroud
Jordan
is
Love?
clutcher than Jordan
J
Love.
Love.
CJ Stroud is
No,
clutcher
no, no.
than
Who's
Jordan Love.
better
Jordan Love.
Trolling.
at quarterback?
Yes.
Trolling.
Jordan Love.
Take
crazy,
CJ Stroud 10 times out of 10,
You're
baby.
crazy.
365 days out of
Yo,
365
Drake May
days.
or
Drake May.
Jordan
Come on,
Love?
bro.
Jordan
You
Love.
better. Drake
Come
May.
on, bro.
Yo, Archie Manning. Jordan Love.
Come on, bro. DJ Lagway.
Yo, let me stop being disrespectful.
DJ
Jordan Love.
Lagway.
Jordan Love is nice. He is nice, though. He is nice.
Well, we know that. You know, he's 1-1.
No, he ain't 1-1, but he nice because I'm here.
He's
He
10
can't
to
be
10.
1-1.
You are here indeed. He's 1-2, maybe.
No, he's one of
Might be a few of us out there.
Who, Love?
J Love.
Nah.
What is he gonna do?
He's
This
got a
year?
cool name. We should have known he was going to
J-Lo,
be
yeah,
good.
that's a fact.
J Love.
MVP,
Yeah, he could win
He
MVP.
was your MVP last year, no?
No.
MVP, and his Super Bowl pick.
No.
Who was my MVP pick?
No, it was. There's no way.
And he can
There's
ever win
fucking
MVP?
no
There's no way
way.
he
I mean, he
took
crazy.
him for MVP
No,
last
he
year?
did. Yes, he did.
And then he had Green Bay making
And
the
then he
Super
got
Bowl.
hurt.
Huh?
That derailed their season.
What the fuck?
He got hurt.
When?
He had a
one.
knee injury.
Did he still play?
Yeah, he
Oh,
played
okay.
through
He
it.
missed like 1 or 2 weeks.
But it bothered him the entire
Oh,
season.
when they were playing. Oh, yes, I remember early in
on
the
the
year.
shitty field, yeah.
Malik Willis came in.
It bothered him the
They were
entire
winning games.
year.
Oh, it did. It's unfortunate.
Because you look at he rushed for more yards last year than this year.
Yeah,
last
blew
year,
mine.
Last year he was running. This year
better be
He was
back
he
tough
didn't
by
run.
fantasy 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
bro. I fucking hated him this year because of fantasy.
Yeah, he didn't run at all this
Fucking
year.
asshole.
And that's what he still didn't take sacks, but
Kyler too.
he was
Kyler's
able
ass
to
gotta
avoid
start running
sacks
again,
more
man.
last year because of he was able to run.
They don't know what damage they've done to my fantasy team, those two bastards.
J Love, isn't he?
Jordan Love and Kyler. I have both
J
of
Love
them.
was top 10 though, right?
Not last year.
In fantasy points per game.
I don't think he was.
Points per game, maybe overall, because he missed a couple weeks.
I will let you know, but I'm like 90% sure he was.
I know Kyler was like 17.
He
like
was
around there.
terrible.
Yeah, I know Kyler wasn't all that good.
Maybe I'm thinking of Kyler, and that's no. Okay, I'm right. 17. Jordan Love was 17.
Oh, okay.
He was mid, and a lot of my opinions do form from fantasy football, and I don't care. He was mid. He was fucking mid. 17.
He needs help, man.
You know who was higher than him?
Jared Goff was comfortably higher.
Bo Nix.
Oh, for sure.
Bo Nix was a demon. Kyler Murray, I don't know how the fuck this is possible.
Next year
I don't
in
know how.
fantasy.
Kyler was higher.
He was 10.
Oh, he runs more.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that. Next year in fantasy, Bo Nix and Mahomes.
Oh, we did a blind ranking.
Mahomes.
Oh, did you?
Mahomes.
In
Give him
fantasy?
Mahomes.
In fantasy?
Give him Mahomes.
By far.
Mahomes gonna MVP.
There we go.
Mahomes go MVP.
He's back.
Mahomes go MVP.
Yeah,
Fantasy,
he got something to
Nico
prove.
Collins or AJ Brown?
Nico.
Nico.
I would take Nico.
Nico.
Okay.
With respect, you know.
I know you're not saying he's better.
No,
like,
no.
he's
AJ
fantasy.
Brown's not an elite
Nico or
fantasy
Brian
wide receiver.
Thomas?
He
That's
kind of
close.
is.
BTJ.
He is.
BTJ.
AJ?
Nico's close.
Yeah.
Hey, AJ last year he missed like
Nah,
5
AJ was
games. He crazy.
amazing
Yeah.
when he
Still,
played.
was
yards
okay.
per route run, he was still super high.
Respect him.
But it's just the Eagles, they could be in blowouts and they could run the shit out of the ball. So AJ's upside.
I
isn't
low
as
key
high.
might think about trading AJ in that league.
Hey,
Give
hey,
some
hey.
depth.
Let's talk.
We can talk.
Let's talk.
We can talk.
He finished as the wide receiver 18 and he missed 4 games.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
We could listen. We could talk.
We'll talk.
Let's talk.
They just had stretches.
I'll hit you
like
up
he had
later.
some stretches where he
I
was
would,
brutal.
I would love
towards the end of the
I will
season.
hit you
Yeah,
up
no, he
later.
goes
You're
on
not
like a
wrong.
6-7 game stretch of just
Yeah,
100.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know, like they don't throw him the ball.
Then he
gets
starts
pissed.
bitching.
Then he
it's
starts
like-
hitting down the sideline.
And they're like, all right, time to get in the ball. And it's like 6 games, boom. We also run the ball. We still have Saquon. So, the
Well,
best
that's
running
going to
back
do
in
it
football.
for this episode of Pick Aside Podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.